Good morning, everybody. This is the Oskar Quentin Show, where I take calls about politics from the general public on TikTok Live and very soon from a phone number. I promise there is stuff being worked on in the background here at Oskar Quentin Studios. Anyway, if you're watching this after the fact on YouTube, you can find a pinned comment that'll tell you when the first oppositional call starts, as well as some more comprehensive timestamps in the description below that will help you to navigate the episode if you're not the type to just listen all the way through, which I know that's not for everybody. There are more time-efficient ways to listen to the show. I'm going to get my backup account in the corner. Make sure you're following that over on TikTok. There we go. That's Oskar Quentin 2. We also have Oskar Quentin. Oh, there we go. Oh, no, I did it wrong. I clicked the buttons out of order. Now it's not connecting. Here we go. Hold on. Let's try that again. Off to a great start today. We are off to a great start today because we have some donations to read that came in overnight. So I'll get to that once I get done with my tech issues.
Good morning, everyone. While we're waiting for Oskar to get this.
Yes. Good morning, Jessie. We've got Jessie in the producer's chair today. Raven's at home editing, so we can get those wonderful clips up and served to the algorithm, so the algorithm can decide how many people deserve to be exposed to my show. But I am going to start by reading some thank yous, some messages, because we had Max send $25 on Buy Me a Coffee last night. You gotta
mute yourself. They're complaining about the echo.
Echo?
From the second account. It's still unmuted.
Oh. Wait, no, it's not.
Yeah, no, it is. You just muted it 1 second ago.
I sure didn't. Why didn't we hear it, though? That's the question. Do we have the wrong audio device selected? That's a possibility.
Somebody said better.
Oh, we do, because we had the same problem that we had last week, because we switched over to that new monitor, so we need to change the audio device to be the correct interface instead of the monitor that you're looking at. That's going to be this one. There we go. We didn't hear it, but the rest of the show could.
Raven muted it. That's why you're like, sure didn't.
Sure didn't. W. Raven. Thank you, Max, for the $25 on Buy Me a Coffee. He said, hey, Oskar, all I wanted to say is great job. Thank you very much. And Cheyenne became a $5 member, for a monthly member over on Buy Me a Coffee, but also sent $20 to say, just watched the second half of yesterday's show and wow, bite the bullet, broke my brain. Never understand women supporting Trump. Any word on the P.O. box? Hope you're out gigging. Buy a round of shots on me. I wasn't last night. I guess I was. I had a different kind of gig than I normally do on Thursday nights. But anyway, P.O. Box is coming for people who want to get stuff to us. We have been so very busy with stuff happening in the background, though. It's like every day for a week I wanted to go to the post office and get that done, but we've been busy during business hours. Post office is open on Saturday. We should do that tomorrow. Anyway, Monica, thank you for the $15 on Venmo. She just sent a strong emoji, rock and roll emoji, and a heart emoji. Thank you for the $15, Monica. And Matt sent a big donation. He sent $100. Thank you, Matt. He said, keep up the good work, man. I woke up this morning and saw your clip of the DACA caller who has been here since she was 2. I hope your work softened hearts and changes minds. That clip, I don't think I would have posted that clip if I was still the one doing the editing. There's I guess it's maybe probably good for the show that I'm not the one doing the clips anymore, because I don't know. I felt it I don't think I'd be like, wow, look at this caller who called in and cried about what's happening to her because of ICE, which is what the clip was about. It seems a little self-serving, and I feel very self-serving for having posted it because now I got a donation because of it. But she called in because she wanted to share her experience. She wanted to use my platform for that, and I got 100,000 people to hear her story. So I guess that's what Matt is donating for, so I can try to do that more, because we do take meaningful calls from people affected by this, or from people who have changed their minds about Trump. We don't just focus completely on trying to be combative and have all these arguments on the show that are good for the algorithm. So Matt appreciates what we're doing. However icky I might feel for taking $100 from him for having posted that clip in particular, I think the idea is that if he wants to help people like her, he thinks that our show is doing that. So I'm really honored by that. Thank you for the $100, Matt. I will try to spend it wisely in consideration of the thing that made you want to give me that money. Kelly also sent $10 to say, I'm a 50-year-old in Minneapolis resident, and I know numerous people like Screech, who is a very difficult caller, who we got a really serious W from yesterday. He seems to have changed sides. Watching his trajectory has been amazing and brought tears to my eyes yesterday. It gave me the end of Rocky IV vibes, and I guarantee he knows what I mean by that. There's a good chance he's listening, because he's quite the fan of the show at this point. And yeah, we had a very, very difficult caller who was very rude and said some very things. I had a number of people sending donations to say that I needed to deplatform this guy. In fact, I think Jake actually didn't get his message read yesterday. He said, I would not have believed that Screech could have made such progress. I literally sent you a donation to beg you to deplatform him, and I was so wrong. Big W's for Oskar and team, and big W for Screech. Damn, man. Thank you for your vision and your pathological altruism, which is something one of the callers was accusing me of having yesterday, pathological altruism. What a day. Yeah, so definitely good that I got reminded to also read Jake's, because that came in a little bit after the show yesterday. But Screech was a serious W of the sort that this show exists to create. I believed in him a month ago when he started appearing on this show. I knew that there was something other than a hateful monster hiding inside that man. And we've teased it out a little bit. He said some incredibly powerful things after we had a really not productive call with somebody else yesterday. He came on and he really explained the fact that when he got introduced to this debate scene, he started getting on all these lives. He was hateful and difficult and warring with all the hosts, myself included. But he just said he was just tired of being a punching bag. He was tired of being shown that he was wrong over and over and over again. He was tired of being hateful and like he just said it. We said it didn't look like he was very happy, and he agreed. And it was a much cheerier version of Screechmeister that we got to talk to on the show yesterday, because he's embraced some of the love that all of us are just trying to use to run the world, because the world would be a better place if we just cared for each other a little bit more. And I think that he's learning that. So fucking W Screech. And thanks everybody for the donations that help the show run, help me be able to afford somebody to sit in the producer's chair. That's Jessie today, and Raven working her ass off at home, getting those clips up that get more viewers, more eyes on the show. I really do appreciate that from everybody. What's in the news today? The USS Abraham Lincoln is being recalled from the Middle East because the living conditions aboard it are terrible. This is an aircraft carrier. I've got some veterans in my life, and they are all very upset about how poorly we're treating our soldiers in this time, because you'd think with the military might that the United States has, we could handle a nasty little conflict in Iran, right? No, can't even take care of our own soldiers, so we're having like mental health crises from our servicemen for having to serve in such bad living conditions on a ship that's been deployed for something like 250 days, which is a bit long for an aircraft carrier. It's just embarrassing. It's just a disappointment. It's just a demonstration that the priorities of this administration aren't where they belong. You'd think that we learned from the last time we overzealously started a conflict in the Middle East, that we know that caring for our servicemen's mental health is really important, because the war on terror killed more of our servicemen through self-unaliving after they came home than it did in active combat, which is fucking devastating. But I mean, I guess that's the bottom line, right? This administration doesn't learn from those sorts of things. The only person in the queue is Keemokazi. What do you think, Jessie?
It's not even 10:30 in the morning.
Got some super chats to read.
Yes,
maybe that'll give us a little more time. Tavi sent $10 to say, YouTube, good morning all. Can't remember if we did a free 5 memberships this week. Another increase on the ADHD meds, so another will be held today. Please make sure your account can receive gift memberships. Tavi has been sending lots of gift memberships, which is he's one of the big reasons why we have something like 300 or 400 members on YouTube. So when we do our members only stream, it's actually pretty happening stream. It's like 50 to 100 people watch, but it's just limited instead of to the public to just paying members. So that's friendly time. We don't ban opposition in the chat. We allow people to be disruptive. We only mute opposition in the chat if there's no caller and they're making a big stink in the chat, but not brave enough to come up. We try to encourage people to come up in that way. But in general, this isn't an echo chamber, this show. You're supposed to be able to disagree here. That's the whole point. We're supposed to hopefully politely engage with our disagreements about that sort of thing. But the members only stream is more just like hangout for friends of the show and buddies and stuff. It's much more friendly time.
You turn into a streamer for a little bit.
Am I not a streamer?
You know what I mean? Like a casual.
Explain yourself, Jessie.
No, you know what I mean.
You're gonna be mayor of Minneapolis or mayor of Minnesota. You have to be able to explain yourself.
You turn into like a moist critical or a amaranth, or I'm
gonna take that as a compliment.
Yeah.
Yeah. I turned into a parasocial streamer instead of a
there
debate
you
streamer.
Go.
Yes, that's what it is. No, it doesn't even feel terribly parasocial. It feels just quite social, because a lot of the people who are active in the chat are members who are active in the Discord, and they're people who I'm on the voice calls with, and they're people who I've gotten to know in the time that we've been running the show. Tekta, what is going on? He says pistachios and cheese, sweet cheese. You don't have you don't that? My ass?
Somebody said amaranth would not be a compliment. Shh, no. That's
No,
not
I was
true.
thinking more of moist critical. That one's a compliment. I appreciate that guy.
Amaranth is a compliment. She's lovely.
Somebody check on Tekta. He's having a stroke. Pat in the chat sent $2 to say just putting a W Screechmeister in the chamber. People keep saying rare Screechmeister W, and I'm like, they're not that rare.
Not anymore.
Didn't actually take that long to get him to start generating some pretty serious W's. We've gotten $2 more from Jammerbanks for the Jessie for Mayor of Minnesota fund. We are all very excited for your campaign.
Thanks.
You're going to be running in an off year, right?
Yeah.
Sam sent $2 more to say bag of voters fart into the toilet and then flush. Can we have an Amaranth style stream? I know about Amaranth. I don't know what style they run their stream though. I know
she got famous for her hot tub streams.
Oh. Well, I don't know. Can we afford a hot tub? Probably not. Bran, thank you for sharing the live to everybody you know. Connor says, Oskar, what up? Good morning. I'm having a nice morning. It's just Keemokazi's just like soft banned from the show for not being productive. But like, why do you keep calling in, Keemokazi? What's the check-in today about? What are we going to learn about you on this particular day?
Well, we can have a nice debate / conversation.
About what?
Anything.
You're 18, by the way, for everybody listening. This is a very young adult who has voting rights. It's the same thing every time, though, Keemokazi, because you don't believe in evidence.
I do believe in evidence.
But when I show you evidence, you say that it's made up.
For what? What did I say was made up?
I tried to show you evidence that the Artemis mission was real. I've tried to, in the past, we've tried to talk about some more hot button issues, but I just find that to be a real waste of time when if you are presented with information that is not in alignment with what you already believe, you say, bruh, it's made up, it's AI.
Bro, the Artemis mission was obviously fake, gang. You should know, bro.
See, that's you say I should know. Why do you say I should know? Is it because you think I know better than that?
Have you not seen all the videos, gang? Like all the clips. There's so many.
I haven't seen very
bro.
many clips because I don't watch clips about NASA. I watch live streams from NASA about what they do. I watch in real time as these things happen. I'm kind of a space dork. It's very exciting that we're going back to the moon
You like
for
to
me.
watch the simulations, huh?
Why do you?
love 'em.
Here's the question. Why do you think that they are simulations?
Dude, you can look at them and tell they're simulations. You can go look.
all right.
There's pictures. There's pictures. out there.
Keemokazi, we're
Hold on.
just because we don't have another caller. But I want to remind everybody that I'm not, afraid of talking to you or anything. What do I Google to find evidence that clearly shows that the Artemis mission was a simulation?
So there was this dude on TikTok.
What do I Google to find the evidence that you say you
look
have
up.
of the art? Yeah, what do I type in?
Look up simulation Artemis mission. Pictures.
Pictures? Do you want me to
Yeah,
add the
just
word?
go
Do you want me to
go to
add,
image.
you want me to go to images?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Is something on the screen of interest to you?
Nah, go to videos.
Okay, go to videos.
Yeah. Go to like YouTube or some shit.
Do you want me to go to YouTube, or are we going to continue with this? Oh, well, YouTube's a different website. So if I go to youtube.com, what do I type in on youtube.com?
Type in hold on. Simulation Artemis mission.
Okay. What do I click?
Scroll down. Right there.
Which one?
What does that say? Artemis. No.
1, 2, or 3? Which one?
Go to number 1. Let's see what that one is.
Okay. This is from Digital Astronaut. Has 4.2 million views. It's a video titled Artemis 2
Moon.
Explained. Do we need sound, or are we just trying to look at the footage?
No, that dude looks like an idiot. Back out of there.
Wait, you say that because
Back out of this is the wrong video. Back out of this.
because the guy looks like an idiot?
No, that's some BS. Back out of there.
Okay.
Scroll down.
I think what you might be experiencing is that, the results that you get on YouTube when you search has to do with the algorithm. And I would not be surprised if your algorithm is showing you different things than mine is. And I don't think that my algorithm likes showing me shorts of people claiming that we haven't gone to the moon.
No, because there's this dude on TikTok who's like, his name's like Flatter or something. And he has like all the pictures of it being a simulation.
But you said that we could, like, here, for example, if we searched in Artemis mission simulation, and it did actually give us this 7-minute video from NASA, right?
Bro, none of it makes sense.
But what you said is that you could look at the footage and see that it's very obviously a simulation. So are you saying this is a simulation?
No, hold on. Explain this. So when the Artemis capsule is coming back, right? Coming back from space, right? You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, it's so hot, right? How hot is it? Probably
like the plasma ball around the capsule.
Yeah,
I don't know a number,
fire.
but it's very hot. It's like surface of the sun hot. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's coming down, right? It comes down and it spanks the water, okay? It's still hot, right? Why isn't, if it's that hot, after it's already down in the water, why isn't the water fizzing?
So there's a few things I can explain to you about this. There's the rate of thermal conductivity of a material. Is that a principle that you're familiar with? Are you aware of that?
No, I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I'll explain it to you. Let's see if you're willing to learn a little bit about science. Are you willing to listen to some basic 7th grade science?
Sure.
Okay, if I put a block of wood and a block of metal in the refrigerator overnight for a week, for arbitrarily long, so that they become the same temperature as inside the fridge, and I take those and I hand them to you, which one would feel colder in your hands?
The metal.
Why is that?
Because it's metal.
But what about metal? They're the same temperature, right? They came out of the same freezer. Why?
Metal holds and contrasts stuff together, or builds it up stronger.
Yeah, no, you might not have the vocabulary, but I actually think you understand what's going on here. It's pretty intuitive that the metal sucks heat out of your hand faster than the than the block of wood does, right? Right, and actually, you said something that makes me think you understand potentially a slightly different principle that's going on here, which is something called thermal capacity. I'll get onto that in a second, but we're talking about the rate of thermal transfer. It's that the metal is better at taking the heat away from your hand, and that's what your body measures when you feel that something's cold. So even though the metal is the same temperature as the block of wood, it feels colder. This all makes sense to you, right? Okay, and then the other thing is how much heat can we store in something, and generally, a block of wood and a block of metal, depending on exactly the type of wood and the type of metal, but across the board, generally, metals can store much more heat than can a block of wood. So say, for example, we put a block of wood in the oven and we put a block of metal in the oven. Which one of them is harder to get back to room temperature?
Metal.
Because it can store more of that heat that the oven put into it. Is that right? We build the skin of spaceships out of ceramics, which is actually a really hard material to work with. It's not very flexible. It's very hard to drill into. It's very hard to glue. It's really, really hard to work with ceramics. So there's a particular reason that that NASA and other companies that make spaceships make the skin of them out of ceramics, because they have exceptionally low thermal conductivity. They're much more like the block of wood than the block of metal. So when I said that plasma ball around the spaceship is really, really hot, you said, how hot was it? And I said the plasma ball. You remember that from a moment ago, right?
Yeah.
The spaceship doesn't get very hot because it's made out of ceramic. The plasma, the air moving around the spaceship, gets heated by friction because the air is rushing so fast over the spaceship, which is pushing it all out of the way very, very fast, thousands of miles an hour at the start when it first starts bumping into the atmosphere. So the air gets very hot, but it's not able to transfer very much of that heat into the... We're just going to put this on the screen to keep your attention. Here, this will be practice for Jessie to work. You got to get rid of the other one and then use the alt thing. Yeah, anyway, now you're covering my face. See, this is more distracting than necessary. There we go. Thank you, Jessie. Okay, so the spaceship doesn't actually get very hot, Keemokazi, because the skin of it is made of ceramic, which doesn't have very much thermal. It has a very low rate of thermal conductivity.
Why do we got Subway Surfers on the screen?
To keep your attention.
Bro, you have my attention.
Oh, okay. It was just a little gag. It was just, thank you, Jessie. Okay, but so the spaceship doesn't get very hot itself. The rate of thermal conductivity is very low, And then the thermal capacity of the ceramic is also pretty low compared to something
But
like
it's
metal.
still hot. It's still hotter than an oven. And if the oven will heat up water to make it bubble, why when it lands, the water start bubbling?
So remember when we talked about if we put a block of wood and a block of metal in an oven, that it would be way harder.
Yes, I remember this.
Okay,
Yes.
so it'd be really hard to cool down the block of metal. You can imagine if we set the oven to something like 300 degrees, the block of wood could get that hot, and the block of metal could get that hot. And now imagine dumping both of those into a pot of water. Which of them would cause the water to boil?
Both of them, gang. If it's getting that hot, if it's getting to 30,000 degrees, bro, I'm telling you, if it's going
hold on.
when it goes down and touches the cold water, it's gonna fizzle a little bit.
So,
but if you think about it, they're going down for a long time. It takes like a few minutes of them going straight down.
So you're making claims
at such a hot pace, bro.
Slow down, please. I'm trying to tell you what I'm talking about, which is that, can you really picture a piece of wood being so hot that it causes a bucket of water to boil?
Yeah, I could. Yes.
I don't think that experiment would work if we tried it out. I think remember we said that like wood,
Like the wood would catch on fire.
Well, you're right that if to get wood that hot, it might catch on fire. We might have to choose a different material for the example because that would get in the way of our experiment. But remember we talked about thermal capacity, how much heat.
Yes, but wood is not on the thing. So what does that have to do with anything?
We're learning about thermal capacity so that we can talk about thermal capacity with something a little more complicated like a spaceship. Can we start by making sure we understand thermal capacity?
What thermal capacity is.
Well,
yes.
my issue with you saying that is that you're not quite understanding this example I'm giving you, where when we put the wood and the block of metal in,
I do understand it. Yes.
So you understand that more energy is stored in the metal than in the wood, right?
Yes.
So there's an amount of energy that's needed to boil the water, and it's possible that the amount of energy that the wood can store isn't enough to boil the water, but the amount of energy that the metal can store is enough to boil the water. Can you imagine that being the case? It depends on the temperatures and exactly the size of the metal and the amount of water. Like, we'd have to do the math on some of this, but we can have a situation where the block of metal stores so much heat that the water can't cool it off fast enough. And in fact, what happens is that the metal heats the water up so much that it boils. But if the water is very cold, for example, it might just be cold enough to get the metal to cool down before any boiling happens. Does that make sense to you?
Sure. Depends on the time, but yeah.
So the most skilled metallurgists, the people who decide what materials to make things out of, that's a fancy word for somebody who decides what type of metal or plastic or ceramic something's going to be made out of. The most talented ones in the world have developed these ceramics that we can put on spaceships, where not only does that plasma ball not heat up that ceramic very much, what little it does get heated up, it doesn't stay heated up because it has almost no thermal capacity compared to something like the block of metal that we put in the oven. So once the parachute slows the spaceship down, it has a few minutes of just cruising through the air, and by the time it gets to the water, the surface of it isn't even very hot anymore. And even if it was, much like the block of wood that we drop in the bucket of water, it just wouldn't be hot enough to get it to boil. The water would cool down the surface before the boiling happened.
Here's where you're going wrong. They're saying they're falling at the heat of they're falling at 30,000 miles per hour, right? Or something like that.
Something like that, yeah. 24,000, something like. Well, so that's the orbit speed that before they get in the atmosphere, before there's any friction, before there's any heat. That's how fast something has to go to stay in orbit. That's the starting speed, yeah.
Gang, so if that's falling at that speed, Brody, if it's falling down, like that doesn't even make any sense how it wouldn't be.
Well, by the time the parachute deploys, it's going much, much slower than that. It's going much normal.
How hot does it get in the air? Like, can you look that up?
How hot does the surface of a spaceship get during re-entry?
Yep.
Sure, I can Google that.
Put it in the middle of the screen so we can all see it. Gotta prove all you dummies right.
Well, I mean, I imagine if we ask a question like how hot the surface of a spaceship gets during reentry, we're going to get an answer probably from an organization like NASA. So, I mean, the AI thing says it's between 2,500 and 5,000 degrees. That's from the Space Exploration Stack Exchange. They have an article called "What Are the top temperatures that occur during reentries. This is just kind of a forum where people discuss it. So this isn't even a very good source that the AI is pulling from. But these numbers seem, to my reckoning, to be reasonable. A few thousand degrees. Very hot.
No, look up for the Artemis mission. How fast it was coming, or how hot it got during the Artemis mission. Okay,
How hot did the Artemis capsule get? Same answer. About 5,000 degrees at the top end.
what does the bottom say?
The plasma shockwave in front of the craft can soar at past 18,000. Remember I said the air gets really hot in front of it, but the ceramic protects the ceramic protects the spaceship from reaching that temperature, though. It doesn't absorb that temperature from the air. That's what we were talking about with the rate of thermal transfer.
So it's getting from 2,500 to 5,400 degrees. Is that what that says at the top there?
Well, so yeah, there's something like that.
So if it's falling and it's that hot, bro. So I'm guessing after it takes that time, it'll take a little while to probably 6 minutes to start cooling down to 600
that's
degrees,
about
right?
that's about how long it has while it floats
So
down on the
by the time
parachute.
it hits the water, it would probably be 500 degrees, okay? So if it was 500
and the
degrees,
ceramic doesn't have the thermal capacity for that 500 degrees or whatever it exactly is to be enough to stay hot long enough to get the water boiling. Because for the water to boil, when we measure how much energy something is, we're a unit like a calorie. You're familiar with what a calorie is.
it doesn't matter if cold and hot hit each other. It's gonna cold. If hot meets cold water, it's gonna start fizzling. But
at what temperature does water boil, Keemokazi?
200, 300 something, 400 degrees.
212 degrees Fahrenheit, 100 degrees Celsius.
Okay.
So it's 212 degrees, and what you're saying is if something hot gets dumped into water, it will necessarily boil. But what if something's only 200 degrees and it gets dumped in water that's 100 degrees? Is any boiling going to happen?
Nope.
Okay, so if something is 215 degrees, which
Yes.
is just a little tiny bit more than the boiling temperature of water,
Yeah, it's gonna start boiling.
but is it going to stay boiling?
So there's a difference between 200 degrees and 500 degrees.
I really want you to listen, and I want you to answer my question. Is it going to stay boiling very long if the thing that we're dunking in the water
if it stays that temperature, yes.
Will it stay that temperature?
Well, probably from the cold, it probably wouldn't. But
Right.
It would,
So there might be, if you looked with a microscope, there might be a very tiny amount of sizzling or boiling that happens right at the surface, but so quickly can remember we were talking about rate of thermal transfer. The rate of thermal transfer of water is very high. That's why we use water to cool things down. You know what it's like to get into a cold shower. It makes you cold much faster than pointing a cold air conditioner at you, right? Even if the air and the water are the same temperature. 60-degree water is very, very dangerously cold to swim in. 60-degree air is pretty comfortable to hang out in if you have a sweater. But that's because of the rate of thermal transfer of these things. So if the water...
You know, I understand all this stuff, right? You don't gotta teach me, you know.
Some of the answers you're giving me to suggest that you don't quite understand it because you think that the spaceship necessarily has so much thermal capacity and is so hot in spite of the fact that it's already had time to cool down, rushing through the air. The air has a lower rate of thermal transfer than the water, but the spaceship moves past quite a lot of air while it's falling down from the sky after it has slowed down. It's already being slowed by the parachutes.
It just doesn't make sense when it hits the water. If it's at 500 degrees, the water
Well,
would
you
be
said it was 500
What?
degrees when it hits the water. I don't know how many degrees it is when it hits the water.
Ask or look it up.
I don't know if Google's going to have a clear answer for that. Let's see what Google says. What's the Google search that I should type to try to learn that?
Put it back in the middle of the screen and I'll tell you. We need to all see this.
All right. I just want to... So the question is, how hot is the surface of the Artemis capsule when it hits the water? What are the words that I should type into Google to try to learn that?
Look up how hot was the capsule of the Artemis mission whenever it hit the water.
Okay. So
5,000 degrees.
hold on.
Bro.
This
No.
Keemokazi,
5,000
read
degrees,
what it says on the
buddy.
screen.
Move it over. I can't see all of it.
Google AI is not good at understanding what every question means. It says during atmospheric re-entry, the Orion capsule's heat shield reaches a peak of about 5,000 during
200 degrees or less during his.
So hold on, stop,
it was
slow
still
down.
a few
Please
hundred
listen,
degrees when it's hitting the
Keemokazi.
water, right?
Keemokazi, I need to ask you something very important. This doesn't say that was the temperature when it touches the water. This is the highest. Why did you?
That's what it was coming down.
Please listen.
I see right there.
Keemokazi, please.
Degrees.
I need you to put your listening ears on for a second. Why were you celebrating that it said 5,000 when this isn't an answer to the question we just asked? It says that during
the full thing at first, buddy.
Okay, why would you celebrate before reading it? You just saw this number. If I wasn't here to point it out to you, would you have noticed that this isn't the right answer?
I would have read it.
What's the source on this, by the way? On this particular Google AI generated result? What is the source? Is Facebook a good source for information about spaceships?
Yes.
I don't think that it is.
Okay, then give me a better website then.
Well, we could just. I don't
think NASA is very good either. They lie about everything, huh? How about that?
Here we go. Here's a forum. This is Reddit.
That's Reddit. Get that out of my face.
Why are you interested in Facebook but not Reddit? I'm also not interested in Reddit. This is not. I was saying this is a forum, which is not a good source. But why were you so quick to say that Reddit's bad but not Facebook? They're both just forums.
Because I like Facebook better than Reddit. That's why.
Does you liking Facebook more than you like Reddit make Facebook a better source than Reddit?
Man, I don't be on Facebook. I be on Instagram, but yeah.
You argued that Facebook is a better resource than Reddit. I'm saying neither of them are a good resource for information about spaceships. Why do you think Facebook's better than Reddit?
Because when I go on there, it tells me what people die, and then I look it up on Google, and it's really what happened.
Here we are trying to look it up on.
Everything I get from there is the truth. So.
Here, what do you mean everything you get from there is the truth? We're sitting here trying to figure out what the truth is, and we're getting very lost from this discussion about why the water didn't boil when the Artemis capsule splashed down in the ocean.
Oh, it didn't boil because it didn't happen. That's why.
But we had a little lesson about physics. We learned a little bit about thermal conductivity and about thermal transfer and these and thermal capacity, and we talked about an experiment where we could say that if we drop a hot block of metal into a bucket of water, even if the metal is hot enough to maybe cause like a microscopic amount of boiling at the moment it makes contact, if the metal's not hot enough to keep the water that hot, it's just not going to keep boiling it. And I just don't know how you're making this leap to say that the spaceship definitely had the parameters necessary to cause.
Go look at all the videos of the Artemis mission. Go look at them inside of there. You can see the video of there's plenty of videos of how they faked it. Plenty of everything, bro. Like, we don't even need to be going. We can discuss something else. Let's discuss Trump. Come on, bro. I'm tired of this Artemis crap.
Well, hold on, because like here's a video of.
Wait, I was still screening the video. I have no idea what.
It's playing for the show, Jessie.
I know.
You had it up. So here, it's gonna boil the water. A little bit.
Yeah, it creates that pocket. That's what I don't know.
Oh yeah, the Leidenfrost effect, where there's an air pocket around something that's so hot that it actually takes much longer for the heat to transfer because of the steam pocket around it. I think that might be a little bit over Keemokazi's head.
But did you see what happened there, Keemo?
Yeah, I did. I'm not stupid. I'm not an idiot. You're treating me like an idiot, but
we're not trying to.
I'm actually smarter than both y'all combined. I don't know why y'all are teaching me this stuff. Try not to say words that'll get me banned,
I appreciate you trying not to say words that'll get you banned, but we learned a little bit about the way that heat transfer works and about how we can boil water by dropping things into it, and I still don't quite understand how you're making the leap to say that the ceramic capsule, by the way, you didn't even know what they make the capsules out of. The skin of the capsules and material.
When did I never said I didn't know what they made the capsules out of.
Did you know that they made the capsules out of ceramic before this call started?
Yes, Brady, I know everything they meant there. I've been to NASA before, gang. I didn't pay attention, but I've been there.
The Houston or the Orlando Museum?
Houston. Probably both.
You didn't pay attention, but you've been there.
No, you think I believe with all that bullcrap, gang? It's all fake, bro. It's all a lie. I'm telling you, everything that they put in your head is a lie. The moon landing, look at it, bro. It looks like a 12-year-old built it. Fake. everything they said was fake. They faked it so they could beat Russia to the
why
moon.
did we have this conversation about heat transfer and thermal capacity? Why, you know, what
Because I was just giving examples on how the Artemis mission was fake.
right, but you haven't convinced me that the Artemis mission was fake. You haven't convinced me that it's reasonable
Dude,
to
it's
think.
hard to convince somebody who's so far stuck on the left, bro. Like, there's no helping you, like, come back to the other side, buddy. Like, there's nothing we can do. Like, what do we tell you? Even if we give you, like, straight facts, bro, you're just gonna stay with your...
Well,
with your
I
little
don't
feelings.
see what being on the left has to do with it. Because didn't Trump create Space Force? So
did.
he believes in.
Talking about, like, with y'all's other beliefs, like, everything.
Sorry, I actually think Jesse's brought up something really poignant because you think that it's a left-leaning idea to believe that we've gone to space. Why did Trump create the Space Force?
So it could be other... so we could... how would I know? Like, what am I...
I just think that
I don't
President
care. I
Trump.
don't care about all that BS.
Do you think it's BS that Trump created a new branch of the military called the Space Force? Because he did do that, and it's actually one of the very few things he's done that I thought was a pretty reasonable thing to do.
What is all in the Space Force? What all that do? Like, are you talking about? Like,
Well, you know how we have the Navy to protect us from threats on the ocean,
yeah, you're talking about like Air Force.
and we have the Air Force to protect us from threats in the air. Can you imagine what the Space Force might be used for?
No, what do they do?
They protect us from threats in space.
There's no threats in space game.
Then why did Donald Trump create the Space Force?
He felt like he was probably bored.
Do you think that that's a good counter argument, given that we're bringing up the fact that Donald Trump himself clearly believes in space exploration to some degree?
So what is in space that we need to protect ourselves from?
Other foreign countries that might have military action in space?
Oh, okay. What are they gonna do? Bomb us?
They could put satellites up that have, like, you know, we talk about how other countries like hide their nuclear weapons or like where they station them. The Cuban Missile Crisis was a really big deal. I don't know if you've heard of that. Are you aware of the Cuban Missile Crisis?
Hell no.
I'm sorry, I thought you knew everything. But the Cuban Missile Crisis was
I know
this...
more than you, that's for sure.
Not about the Cuban Missile Crisis, it would seem. But the reason we were so concerned about the Cuban Missile Crisis is because Cuba is very close to the United States, and Russia had some missiles there, and we were very concerned that Russia had missiles that were close enough to us. And in the 21st century, so many countries have busy space programs that we're very worried that they're going to put weapons on satellites, which actually come very, very close to us. Do you know how high up in the air satellites are?
Like 25 to 30,000 feet or something like that.
That's pretty close, higher than that, but you're kind of in the right ballpark. It's not that far.
35,000 is pretty close.
Well, that's how high jet planes fly. So it's higher than that.
It's probably like 45,000.
It's much higher. You're in the right order of magnitude. It's about 10 times higher than that.
Dude, there's no way.
Do you not believe in satellites?
No, man.
You can look up when the International Space Station is going to fly by, and you can look at it with a telescope. You can see it with its solar panels. I have seen it with my own eye, obstructed by nothing but telescope lenses.
No, Brady, I don't believe a lot anymore, honestly.
Do you believe me when I tell you that I've pointed a telescope at the sky and seen the International Space Station? It's very hard because it moves very fast. It takes a lot of tries. You get a try every 90 minutes because that's how long it takes to orbit the Earth. But I've spent some days drinking beer out in the backyard of a cabin I used to have with my telescope, trying to spot the ISS as it passes by. You can see it at night with your naked eye. You can just.
Bro, I don't know if I believe it anymore, because wasn't there supposed to be like where we lose gravity for 7 seconds yesterday or some shit? But why didn't that happen?
I'm sorry.
Because if that was true, if the Earth wasn't flat and the Earth was round,
why Keemokazi? Why do you think that we were supposed to lose gravity for 7 seconds yesterday? Who told you that?
Because it was everywhere. They were posting that shit everywhere.
I didn't see it. I'm pretty present on it.
If that were to happen, bro, that would prove to me the Earth is round. But like y'all, every time y'all say y'all are gonna do something that proves the Earth is round, it never happens. They always make up an excuse for that shit. So I'm honestly leaning towards the Earth is flat.
You can see the ISS with your naked eye by going outside at night and looking up when it's going to fly over your house.
The fuck is the ISS?
The International Space Station. It's the biggest satellite. People have been living on it continuously for 2 decades. What?
Cannot see that game.
Yes, you can. I've done it. Why don't you try?
How am I gonna try that? Where do I gotta be at?
So there's a website where you can look up here, current position of the ISS on astroviewer.net, and you can look at where it says that the ISS is. Here it is. Right now, the ISS is over Nova Scotia, it would seem. Right here. You see that? So I can't see it right now, but if we follow the track to the right, and then because the Earth is a globe, it starts all the way back over. It actually looks. I live right about here, so it looks like the ISS. The next time the ISS is going to fly over my house is probably going to be tomorrow morning. Or actually, no, this isn't a day. This is an hour and a half. It's going to be in about an hour and a half, but it'll be during the day, so it's going to be a little hard to spot with the naked eye during the day. But I have done this experiment. I used to be the tutor for the astronomy class at my college, and we had lab experiments where people were tasked with going and making their own observations about space using telescopes. So I would help people with that work. So when it comes to trying to go and verify these things yourself, I have experience teaching people how to use the tools themselves to go check these things themselves. And I've done that with many, many people. Why are you not why are you not interested in...
Let me tell you what's going to happen in the next... So, let me tell you what's going to happen. It's going to be really, really bad. Here's what's going to happen. So here, pretty much, y'all side, the left side, is gonna try to. This is a little off topic, but I'm just gonna explain to you what's gonna happen. Y'all are gonna assassinate Trump, okay?
Whoa, dude, what the fuck? You need to really watch it with TikTok TOS. I don't want anybody to assassinate Trump.
This is what y'all are gonna do. Y'all are gonna do that, okay? And then whoever, so JD Vance is gonna step up. And he's easier to control than Trump, right? So then y'all gonna have him step up, and they are gonna be able to control him, like what y'all do for every single thing. This is exactly what's gonna happen. I'm telling you, closer to the end of his term, bro. I'm telling you, that's what's gonna happen. And
I don't know what that has to do with any of what we're talking about. Keemokazi, I want you to try to. The question I'm going to answer you after I read the donation messages is this. I want you time to prepare, which is, would you, if we happened to live at all near each other, be at all interested in me showing you the International Space Station with a telescope? If that was something that was possible, would you be willing to come with me to a place where there's a good viewing opportunity and look at some stuff through a telescope? I want you to think about that. I don't want you to answer. I don't want you to answer right now. I'm going to read the donation message. I want you to really think about whether or not you would take such an opportunity and go.
Me and you,
I want you to think. Yeah, IRL. I want you to think about that question while I read some donation messages. The Spooby sent $5 to say Fiverr for a great show. Space shuttle tile demonstration would just demonstrate that the caller is incorrect. Yeah, he probably wouldn't watch it. Absolute AGR sent $2 to say I refuse to believe he has boiled pasta before. Horsepower Pull-Up sent $5 to say what implication would it have on his perspective of the world if what we know about space was most likely true and we have explored it as described. That's interesting. Thank you, Tina, very much for the Guardian. And then Light Blinded Fool sent $20 to say snap back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. -M&M. Yeah. Jammerbank sent $2 to say caller, trust me, bro. I'm telling you, you're wrong. That's what I should tell him. Trust me, bro. Athena sent $5 to say someone saying gravity was going to stop working is genuinely the most delusional thing I've heard during these lives. My God. Keemokazi, it might be the most delusional take I have heard that you thought that gravity was supposed to turn off for 7 seconds yesterday. That's a new one. Zane.
That's what they said. That's
Zane,
what your people said.
I would like for you to find a source on that. Zane sent $5 to say great job with the teacher hat Artemis. Also so concerned about literacy, but this is how we grow. Trying, dude. Appreciate you, Zane. I will get you that PO box soon, Zane, so you can send me your book because I do want to read it. David sent $5 to say not everyone can use critical thinking skills. Let's just leave it at that. That might be what's going on here. And then Kara sent a buck to say please ask him to show us where he read we were going to lose gravity yesterday. I just did ask him that. I'm curious if he'll have anything for us. And then over on Cash App, Aaron sent $5 to say everything is a conspiracy when you don't understand. Yeah. Yeah. Do we have any buy me a coffees? We did. Lucky Phil sent $5 to say, just in case you thought it was a fever dream, it actually happened. W Screech. And your producer's posting instead of you is a good choice. Good clip. W staff.
Golly, your chats are idiots. Full of
the question again, Keemokazi, is I don't know where in the country you live. Would you be willing to tell us what state you live in?
Yeah.
What state do you live in?
Texas, born and raised. Come on now.
Texas. Okay. If I go to Texas at any time in the next year, which I expect to because I'm trying to do a lot of travel for this show, we have a bunch of really cool stuff planned. Does it make sense for my producer Jessie to write down that when we go to Texas, we're gonna meet up with Keemokazi and we're gonna look at space through a telescope together?
I bet.
Okay, I would really like to do that.
I'm gonna bring my homeboys though, so
please. I would, dude. It's so incredible to look. You know Saturn, the one with the rings.
Yeah, I do know.
Scarlet, thank you very much for the diamond gun. That's crazy.
Yeah, I do know our planet.
Right. Yeah, Saturn is really, really incredible to see with nothing but your naked eye and a telescope. It's one of the most memorable things in my entire life of learning things about science is the first time that I saw Saturn myself with a telescope that I set up by myself in the middle of the night. I cried because I'd spent my whole life.
Texas, are you going to?
Texas is a big state. But if I'm in Texas for some such reason, I expect to have a car because you need a car in Texas. So I'll probably rent a car. I'll fucking drive to you, buddy. I swear. I would so love to be able to sit down with you and point a telescope at space and try to show you some of the things about our solar system that you can learn by yourself at home with a telescope. I think that would be really interesting for you. I think that'd be really interesting for your friends. And I hope you know I'm going to film it and put it on the internet because it would be more productive than me sitting here and putting clips of me talking to you through this channel on the internet, because there's not much I can do to convince you that you can see these things with your naked eye from the chair that I sit in right now. But if I make a trip to Texas,
I don't got a telescope, so
I have a telescope.
I bet.
Okay, so yeah, if I go to Texas, I'll bring a telescope. It might make more sense to just buy one in Texas, because they're not that expensive, the type of telescope you need to see the planets and some other things in space. Maybe I'd give it to you as a gift, if that'd be fun. Maybe you'd have fun looking through it, and I can give Keemokazi a telescope so he can explore the universe himself. Or rent one, says Nerdy in the chat. But I've spent a lot of time teaching people how to use telescopes, and it's really quite a wonderful thing to see the look on somebody's face when they peer through that sight glass and see the picture they've seen on the internet, the picture they've seen in the picture books when they were a kid in elementary school. We all know what Saturn looks like with its rings. We all know what Jupiter looks like with its storms. We all know that the color of Mars, but you can see these things with your naked eye through I guess it's not a naked eye. You have a telescope between you and the sky, but this isn't a camera. There's no computers. There's no simulations. These are just optical lenses that are bending the light to magnify it so that you can see it. And it would really bring me joy to get to sit down with you and a telescope and look at some of these things.
I bet. I'm down.
You should message me where roughly in Texas you live so I can think about that as I plan my travel for the next year, because this is the sort of stuff I'm really trying to do.
I can tell you where I'm at.
Well, I don't know if you want to dox yourself or not. You can tell me roughly, like what like a big city that you live near. If you do live near a big city, I don't know if you do. That's not going to dox you.
Yeah, I do live near a big city.
Okay, if you live near a big city, then I'm really trying to get a lot of travel done. There's a bunch of stuff I want to report on. There's a bunch of people I want to meet. There's a bunch of street corner recording that I want to do in different places. And I don't currently have plans to go to Texas, but I spend a lot of time talking to you, Keemokazi. I said I was going to bring you up for a check-in, but we had this really interesting moment where we just tried to learn something very basic about re-entry temperatures, because you think that the spaceship not boiling the water when it lands in it is evidence that it's all a ruse, and I just don't, because it's perfectly compatible with my understanding of some of the really impressive materials that they use. I've seen demonstrations with these tiles that they tile our spaceships with. It's very, very incredible that they've been able to figure out this heat transfer issue so that it works. But it's that and so many other problems like that we've spent decades solving to explore space. And I have so much admiration for the people who've worked their entire lives to come up with clever solutions to those problems. Because somebody might go to school for 10 years, go to engineering school, get some sort of doctorate in physics or something. And at the end of the day, when they're old and retired and reflecting on their life, they might be able to say, oh yeah, people don't really know my name, people don't really know what I did, but I helped design the tiles that we put on the bottom of the space shuttle or on the Artemis capsule or something like that. And like, that's such rewarding work to solve one of those problems. For people who care about how these things work, like, it's such a win to defeat such a hard problem. And I'd love to teach you about that, but I know you just aren't going to believe anything that I tell you. And I've been trying so hard to figure out how to show you evidence for something like 6 months now, that I would drive to another city and try to show you in person that a telescope can teach you about the universe. So I don't know what else to say other than that. I feel like I should move on to another caller now.
All right, but well, it was good talking to you today, and I guess I'll see you tomorrow or something.
I'm not gonna have you back up that often because, again, it's not super useful to have you on, but I can't even say that I appreciate your time because I don't think you spend the time listening. I think you listen until it conflicts with what you want, and then you just kind of flip the table. That's what happened when we pointed out that Trump made the Space Force. You were listening, and then you kind of locked up on that and started, change your tone a little bit. And you started kind of snapping at me because, yeah, the president that you support knows that we go to space. He knows it's important. Jessie, thank you for the $5 on Venmo. Lake Pontchartrain in Louisiana has a power line that goes across it that is so long it shows the curvature of the Earth. Yeah, I think I have shown a photograph of those power lines to Keemokazi on a different stream. I'm pretty sure I've done that. I think he's the only flat earther I've really talked to on the show, so I'm pretty sure that was him. Carter sent $2 to say, the 7-second thing came from some right-wing news sources like 2 months ago. It was proved fake back then. Yeah, it just got recycled in the algorithm for clicks, and Keemokazi saw it yesterday, because they'll have some stupid rumor that catches wind, and then it won't happen, and then they'll just do it again 2 weeks later for a different audience, and it works on people like that. I used to be a high school teacher. Resigned that job very recently. Keemokazi is sadly more representative of our youth today than you would hope. There's plenty of bright kids I worked with, but the average is not fantastic. Kids are using ChatGPT, and they're using him the way he did, where they looked up a question asking for a temperature. He saw the temperature was 5,000, didn't care that it was saying that it was for a different thing than he asked for. He just assumed he was right, and that's how kids use ChatGPT. They search it, it gives them the number, and they think that's the number, and they write it in their homework or on their test or on their their classwork, and I have to sit there and be like, you just typed a bunch of words into this box, read the first number that Google gave you, and put it on your homework. You didn't even read what it was telling you about that number, and this number is wrong. And then they say, no, but ChatGPT is great. And I have to sit with these kids and talk about how to use these tools in the same way that teachers had to sit with us 20 years ago and teach us how to use Wikipedia in a way that didn't end up with us believing a bunch of nonsense. Vito Blazer, thank you for the $5 on YouTube Super Chat. This donkey brains just said that if the Earth lost its gravity, that would make him believe the Earth was round. How does someone get this stupid? It's not that he got that stupid. It's that the education system failed him and he stayed that stupid because we were all that stupid one day. Babies are stupid as fuck, yo. Kids are slightly less stupid than babies. Teenagers are supposed to be a little bit less stupid still, and we would hope by the time you're an adult and you have voting rights, you aren't that stupid. But the education system failed us on Keemokazi, and that's why we have a voter who thinks that the Earth is flat. That's the best explanation I can give you. Elusive Viper sent $5 to say the stars rotate in different directions on the north-south poles. Try to figure that out, how that works on a flat plane. Yeah, I don't think he has the spatial reasoning to consider that type of problem. I think that somebody like Keemokazi is not interested in learning in the obvious things that are wrong with thinking that the Earth is flat. They just don't add up to the obvious nonsense that it does for the rest of us. Quirtus sent $5 to say Oscar's got me invested in the Keemokazi redemption arc. Dude, we do redemption arcs here on the fucking Oskar Quentin show, and I'm still riding that high from Screechmeister's big W yesterday, or just the big W that Screechmeister has been generally. And I so appreciate all the people who have mentioned that I get to, that the audience is recognizing the I told you so. Because the audience turned on me with Screechmeister, but I was right, you motherfuckers. That's why you're watching my show. I have some idea of what I'm doing when it comes to somebody like Screechmeister, and I'm just really happy that one worked out. But Keemokazi, I've been wearing away at that block of marble for longer than Screechmeister. Somehow Keemokazi at the ripe old age of 18 is as set in his ways as most of the boomers that I talk to, but not Screechmeister. Horsepower Pull-Up sent $2 to say, if I'll give you a tattoo if you come through Virginia. Good to know. I do want more tattoos. KB Ninja sent $10 to say, Oscar, it feels like MAGA treats politics like sports, but if their favorite team was constantly losing, they would call for a new coach or a new QB. Why do they not call for a new president? Well, they think they're winning because they just like don't care. They can hear the administration self-report that they're winning and be like, great. They don't actually care what's going on in the country. They don't care about the economy. They don't care about Trump's deportation figures. They don't care about numbers on a screen. They just care about hashtag winning. Whoa. And they've got the budget to do like campaign ads that make it look like the Republicans are like winning at something. So yeah, it is very, very tribalistic in that sense. Sean sent $5 to say, please permaban Keemokazi for not understanding anything ever and then being super bad faith every time. Well, that's interesting. He was good faith when I was teaching him about thermal transfer, and then the moment it showed up to prove him wrong, that's when he goes full bad faith and just puts the walls up. So I don't know. I mean it. I'll give a day of my time to try to show Keemokazi space through a fucking telescope in person. I would like to do that. Lover of Life sent $5 to say, Project Anchor, $89 billion leaked NASA document warned that Earth would lose gravity for 7.3 seconds on August 12, 2026. Fake claim. It was just an AI generated thing. Yeah, there we go. Project Anchor. That's what it's called. Right, because the whole thing is that the question that people ask flat earthers is like, why is there gravity? Like, how does gravity make sense if we're not all roughly equidistant from the center of mass of the Earth and it's all pulling us towards it, which like is consistent with astrophysics and all that. How does, there's the idea that the Earth is a disk and it's like accelerating upward at 9.81 meters per second squared, which means that after not very long, we'd be going many times the speed of light. So like, that runs into other problems. I don't know. I don't know how these people justify it. I don't know how these people make any sense of it. Vicky sent $1 to say, Oscar, if the Earth is flat, wouldn't it make sense that the whole world would have seen the solar eclipse yesterday? Yeah. I mean, the reason we figured out that the Earth is a sphere is because thousands of years ago, they figured out that what happens during a lunar eclipse, where there's a shadow cast on the moon of the Earth because the sun is on the other side, we figured out that the only shape that always casts a round shadow is a sphere. And every lunar eclipse put a round shadow on the moon. So that's how we knew that the Earth was round. Before we even did any of the fucking math about it. We just did it with like basic reasoning. Where like, given that it doesn't matter where the sun and the moon are, as long as the Earth is between them, the shadow is always round. Sacred, thank you for the $5. Sacred's a challenge. Get folks who aren't interested in learning. Bet you can do it, Oscar. Well, that's the thing. It's like, I'd love to fucking do science class with the chuds and teach them about some basic shit they don't understand. But can we get them to cooperate? Miss Alulu is our next caller. Potentially a friendly? I feel like I've seen them in the chat. Maybe they didn't mean to join. But we'll give them a chance. What's going on? Hello? Did you mean to join? I don't think Miss Lulu meant to join. Goodbye. Rice pudding? I don't remember if that's a new caller. Hello, how old are you?
21.
Are you a Trump supporter?
Oh, no, just love your show.
Appreciate your rice pudding. We're going to talk to Earth. Look at that. The Earth emoji is round. What a liar.
Man. Yo, what's going on?
Chillin'. How old are you?
Yeah, 28 and a half.
28 and a half. Big boy. Are you a Trump supporter?
Voted for him 3 times.
You've talked to Earth emoji before.
I know. I just don't remember which one he is. Why'd you vote for him? What's important to you?
Well, first time I voted for him was because of he was a little different, you know that? A different politician entering the world. He wasn't a standard politician. Second time I voted for him, I believed he was draining the swamp. Third time was because I couldn't vote for the Kamala woman.
So I'm guessing that you know perfectly well how her name is pronounced, and you're just saying it that way to be disrespectful on purpose?
Is she in the chat? Is she listening to when I'm talking?
I'm sorry. I'm in the chat. I'm in the call. I'm sitting right here, and I asked you a question.
I get it, but are you friends with Are you friends with her, or
do I need to be friends with her to ask that question?
I mean, you're saying that as a disrespectful way to call her.
I asked if you know how it's pronounced and are intentionally mispronouncing it to be disrespectful.
I know how it's pronounced, and
so why do you choose to pronounce it in a way that's not accurate?
Well, because just having a little bit of fun with it. Not everything is so serious, my guy.
Are you doubting that it's disrespectful? I think it shows that you don't respect her, which is what disrespectful means.
Oh no, I don't respect her enough to respect her that way.
Right. Why is that?
Why? Well, because I saw right through her. I wasn't a big fan of her.
That's an insubstantive thing. When you saw right through her, what did you see?
I mean, when you're running for a presidential office and it's a serious time in the United States and you're doing interviews and all you can do is just laugh and not take anything.
Donald Trump does like problematic impressions of disabled people when in front of the camera.
Yeah, okay.
If you think that her laughter is a problem, you don't think that Trump mocking people in the way that he does, you don't think that him saying "quiet piggy" when asked a question by a reporter about the Epstein file, you don't think any of that behavior is problematic? But,
I respect someone that was real like Donald Trump, unlike her, which is
the convicted fraudster, lifelong criminal and con man Donald Trump. Right, you respect him. What about her laughter made it so worthy?
Doggy dog world. In order to swim with the sharks,
you said that her laughter is a good enough reason to be disrespectful of her. Why is that?
Again, I don't have the respect to disrespect her that way. So,
you brought up her laughter.
Yeah.
Why did you bring up her laughter?
Well, because when you're running for president and you're doing some serious interviews and all you could do is kind of just laugh at things, it's like it's not really a big laughing matter. And
just laugh at things? What are you talking about? Can you tell me a time where she was asked a serious question and instead of responding to it in an appropriate way for a politician, she like laughed it off? Or is that what you're talking about?
I mean, yeah, all of her interviews. The View, when she went on The View with like 4 or 5 feminist women who are just angry, mad at the world. All she can do is laugh, and
all she can do is laugh on The View when she's talking with feminists.
Really
I'm sorry.
Answers.
We're going to look at her performance on The View and discuss exactly how it went.
If you want to go into that micro detail,
I do. It's
kind of a waste of time.
I do.
To actually
I think it's very funny that you're calling it a waste of time to run away from having to demonstrate that she behaved unpresidentially on The View. Which of these videos should I click?
There she is.
Yeah, all 3 of these videos were posted by The View. These first 3. Which one should I click?
I don't know. Click on whatever one you want to click on.
I'm going to click on the first one. I just typed in Kamala Harris on The View.
Taking you inside her last-minute presidential campaign and the new memoir.
Why she lost the 20 days. Oh, here's the book.
I'm sorry. We're not actually going to yap over it. We're just all going to watch it for a moment.
Well, why don't you have one?
I'm not interested in you stalling and getting away from this claim that you've made about her behaving.
Did you buy her book?
I'm sorry.
Did you buy her book?
I'm not interested in you just non sequituring away from this. I have not read her book. We're gonna look at her performance on The View.
If you're a big supporter, you should buy her book.
I'm not a big supporter. I wasn't very excited about her presidential campaign. She was just the most obvious choice between her and the rapist she was running against. And we are going to assess whether or not her performance on The View.
You even admit she wasn't a good choice.
I'm not letting you run away from this by bringing up other shit that's going to distract me. We're going to watch this.
She wasn't even a good choice.
I didn't say she wasn't a good. I said everything but that she wasn't a good choice. I said that I wasn't excited about her campaign, but she was the obvious choice, is what I said.
We're honored that she's back for the first time since the election. Please welcome Kamala Harris.
You do realize that these people that host these type of shows, they're obviously paid and bought for in order to spread an agenda.
Shut your mouth, child.
Influence over people. My God, you're calling me a child, but I mean, I could call you other names. But
you can flail all you want.
I don't want to stoop down to your level.
If you speak over part of the video that I feel is part of the video we're supposed to be watching, I will rewind it and make you watch it again. So you can shut up and watch it. If you are afraid to watch a video that you yourself said was a demonstration of her not being presidential, I think that's very funny, but I am going to force you to watch it. So I'm not going to mute you, but if I hear you yapping, we will rewind and watch it again.
Calm down, big boy.
We are going to rewind and watch again. Stop yapping.
Calm down. You're 33 years old.
We're going to watch again.
33 acting like this. We got it.
I'm sorry. Are you afraid to watch the video?
No, go ahead. Buy her book. Buy my book.
I need you to stop talking so that we can all watch the video and that everybody can know, because I've not muted you, that you are in fact paying attention and listening to the video that you said demonstrates that she's unpresidential in some important way. And if you're afraid to watch that, you can keep interrupting. If you're not afraid to watch it, I'd like for you to shut up and let us all watch it together,
go ahead.
so we can assess your claims about it.
Go ahead.
Wherever you go now?
Well, you know, a lot of people are coming up to me crying, actually.
Crying, yeah. I would be crying.
Yeah, but that was just me.
That's true.
Well,
Hi, guys.
Hey.
Hi.
You know,
Hi.
this is just wild to have you here today.
Yeah.
It's just wonderful to see you.
It's good to be with you guys. Thank you.
Because
Thank
it's
you.
been almost a year since the election.
Yes.
We're going to get into everything that's been going on since. You look good.
Thank you. That's very kind. I'm getting some sleep these days.
How are you?
I am well. Thank you for asking. I am well. I feel very blessed. My family is well. And, you know, in spite of everything that's happening in the world, I don't have any complaints.
Oh, that's good, yeah.
You know?
Well, let me take you back a little bit. There seems to be so
She's a political grifter. Of course she doesn't have
Okay,
any
so once
complaints.
again, the claim is that she was just laughing and she wasn't able to... What exactly was your claim about her performance on The View?
Typical political grifting about her laugh. But go ahead.
I'm sorry. Do you think that Donald Trump is not a political grifter?
Oh, no, I know. I 100% understand that he
Okay.
is a political grifter.
Okay. I want to go back to continuing to review her performance on The View, which was 10 months ago, which was your reason for not voting for her 2 years ago.
much momentum after President Biden stepped aside. There was a renewed sense of hope for Democrats, honestly, for everyone. It felt like there was this great option. Money was pouring in to the tune of $1 billion. There were huge crowds at your events. And then election night came. Yeah. And it was 2016 all over again. And there's even a picture in the book that shows you and your husband when it appeared things weren't going quite the way maybe many of us had thought. What was going through your mind as the results came in?
So that chapter in the book was probably one of the most difficult things that I had to reflect on and write about. In fact, Doug and I, my husband, it wasn't until I was writing that chapter that we had ever talked about
Have
elections.
you actually looked into her husband?
I'm sorry. You said that she was just laughing and that this interview was a demonstration of her lack of an ability to be presidential.
Yeah.
Have
you looked into her husband?
I'm not interested in these pivots. You said that this video. You said that this video was evidence.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not.
Have you
so
looked into
if you
her
have
husband
another
or
topic
no?
that you want to run away,
that you haven't.
You are running away from looking
say
at what
you haven't.
you are running away from looking at the thing that you said convinced you
brought up her
that she
husband.
wasn't a serious candidate.
She brought up her husband.
Okay.
Have you looked into her husband?
I don't know as much about her husband probably
that's
as you
what I
want me
thought.
to. What about her husband, as shown through this interview, demonstrates that she's a problem as a candidate? You still now it is your turn to speak. Unmute yourself.
Her husband is a very pro-Israel ally, has done many deals.
Donald Trump is waging a war on Iran on behalf of Israel. Almost every establishment politician in this country is pro-Israel. That's a big fucking problem. That's one of the things I don't like about her. She was still the better choice in 2024. You said that the way that she laughed in this TV interview is a demonstration of the fact that she wasn't the right candidate in 2024.
But
Have
the
you
way
seen?
that you guys say
Why
that it
did
would've
you
been
say her
different if she was in
No,
office
you didn't bring up her
was not
husband.
going to be different.
Her husband didn't come up when you told me what you told me that caused us to watch this interview on The View. Why are we watching an interview on The View?
To see her character traits, but I just wanted to bring up her husband because nothing would have changed if she was in office, okay? Because it would have been the same old
I don't.
shit.
Oh, you think it would have been exactly the same if she was
The
president? If she was
exact
Donald
same,
Trump?
my guy.
That's fucking
The exact
nonsense. That's
same.
not serious. That's disingenuous. I don't believe for a second that you believe that to be true. I don't even think I need to refute that. I think it's so obvious that that wouldn't be the case that I don't feel the need to sit here and try to argue that she would have behaved differently as president, especially in consideration of the fact that she was the vice president to the most recent president and did behave very differently than President Trump has in either of his 2 terms. I think you know that, and the chat can let me know. Hey, Oscar, you haven't covered that one thoroughly enough if you think that that's a good claim. Why are you teacupped? Come back to the show you're on. Goodbye. He's a runner. A runner and a fucking track star because he doesn't like that he brought up The View and that we went to go watch it together. Fucking unbelievable. These fucking monsters. Just absolute cowards. Can we get some chicken emojis? Are there chicken emojis? I bet there's an emoji of a chicken. Can we get some of those on the screen, please? Thank you very much, Athena, for the $2 on YouTube Super Chat. Caller knew Caller was a sexist and a fascist and a racist within first 20 seconds. Yeah, he made it pretty clear. Canadian Princess said, "What a telling answer. Caller is a misogynist." Non-Bobber said, "Caller is a David." You guys all know which kind of David if you've been watching the show lately. Little Boots sent $10 to say, "Be kind and please rewind future cat tax payments." Thank you. Appreciate you. Over on Venmo. Oh, nothing new on Venmo. Let's see. Cash App. Nope. And Buy Me a Coffee. I gotta check Buy Me a Coffee so I don't upset Phil. Someone sent $10. That's their username. Someone sent $10 on Buy Me a Coffee to say, "Keep up the awesome work, Oscar. I love tuning into your streams. You don't debate. You educate with patience and empathy, and I think that is inspiring." Well, sometimes I educate with patience and empathy. Sometimes I debate. Sometimes it is just an entertaining shouting match that really isn't all that productive, unless you consider it productive for the show to be more successful, which I think you might because you just sent me $10. So sometimes I do not so productive things on the show in order to increase the engagement. We could do very unproductive things from time to time, like talking to Justin Howard. That's never productive. I just want to see what type of mood Justin Howard is in today, but I will ask him to remind us how old he is.
Why do I gotta tell you my age again every fucking time, bro?
TikTok TOS, buddy. If I don't remember, I gotta ask.
Where does it say TikTok TOS?
TikTok terms of service. TikTok requires me to make sure I know the age of the person I'm talking to. How old are you?
I'm 42, bro.
Okay.
And
what kind of mood are you in today, Justin? Are you doing okay?
why would I not be doing okay, bro?
Most of the time when you're on my show, you sound like you're going through some sort of crisis.
No, that would be you, my guy.
I'm chilling.
No, you sound like you're going through some crisis right now when you kick that guy and say, "We gotta run or track star."
I didn't kick him. He ran.
I didn't. He was schooling you, bro.
I didn't. I would love for him to come back.
Kamala was the worst. Kamala was the worst thing to ever fucking run, dude. We all know that.
Why do you think that?
Dude, you didn't see the debate, the one debate she had? What was she doing the whole time after Trump talked? She was smiling and laughing at him.
I think if I got to have a conversation with Donald Trump, I'd probably laugh at him too.
That's not cool, bro. That's showing you're a child, my guy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you think that it's uncool to be disrespectful to somebody who's held so high as an office as president or vice president?
She was vice president.
I asked you a question. Do you think that it's uncool to be disrespectful to somebody who's held so high an office as president or vice president?
She was rude to...
I asked a question. The question was...
Good for the gander, my guy.
Justin, if you want to stay on my show, you have to answer my question. You just pointed out that I maybe did...
my show, you got to answer my question.
You have to answer my question. Do you want to hear the question again?
Go ahead, bro.
Okay.
Repeat your fucking question again.
I said that I probably would laugh at Trump if I got the opportunity of having a conversation with him.
But you're a fucking child, bro.
And you said that that'd be childish. You said I'd be a fucking child for that. Do you think it's childish to disrespect somebody who's held so high in office as president or vice president?
Yes, he could have done the same thing, but he didn't.
That wasn't my question.
Dude, you told me to answer. I fucking answered it. What the fuck, my guy? God damn. You just don't like my answer.
Well, I don't think you did answer it, and you did something kind of disrespectful to somebody who'd been vice president at the beginning of the call by mispronouncing her name. So I'm just trying to make sure that we're consistent.
Kamala, same shit. Ding dong's a ding dong, a Twinkie's a Twinkie. Whether you fucking call it a Twinkie or whatever.
Okay, so you probably don't have any issue with me calling Donald Trump a fat old fuck who doesn't know what he's doing.
That's disrespect, bro. Like, you gotta respect yourself.
I don't respect him.
You don't. You apparently you don't.
I don't.
So why should we respect Kamala Walla Ding Dong?
Well, you're getting your pearls all clutched about the things I'm saying about Trump.
Tell me what she did. What did she do? What did she do as DA of California?
I'm not.
What did she do as DA of California?
I don't know.
See, you were going to vote
district
for somebody
attorney. I know. I understand the job responsibilities. I'm not super familiar with the cases. What did
she fucked California, bro?
Why?
Like she would have fucked us if she would have won.
In what way did she fuck California?
Dude, she let people out that shouldn't have been let out.
Like who?
Dude, oh my God, dude. You voted for somebody you have no fucking...
Oh, you sound very upset about this. What did she do?
She let people go that shouldn't have been let out.
Why shouldn't they have been let out?
Dude, the crimes that they committed, duh.
What were those crimes?
God, I can't believe you're so fucking... Bro, arguing with you is like fucking arguing with a fucking wall with paint.
Hold on, you're telling me why Kamala Harris was so bad. What did she do?
I told you already, bro. She let people out of jail that shouldn't have been out.
Why shouldn't they have been let out?
Did. My God, guy, you like? Don't tell me you're this fucking stupid, my guy.
I mean, I know some people that Trump let out of jail that he shouldn't have.
No, bro. You guys just don't like Trump. You guys don't like Trump.
So it was good when he pardoned the 1,000 people who'd been federally convicted for trying to invade the Capitol and postpone the results of the election?
No, they weren't, bro. That was all your side, bro.
Then why did Trump? If that was all our side, Justin, please listen. If that was please, if that was
you guys are trying to blame Trump for shit he didn't do.
I'm really trying to understand you. I mean it. Like I'm not trying. I'm gonna take a different tone with you today. I don't want to be combative with you. I really am just trying to understand what type of caller you are. You're saying that it was all our side that invaded the Capitol on January 6th. It was all leftist.
Yeah.
Then okay. Yep. Then I don't think that's.
You guys were mad because he was.
Please listen, Justin. If that's the case, why did Trump pardon them?
Because they didn't commit a crime, my guy.
Okay, so then why are you saying it was our team?
Because it is your side. You Democrats are always causing shit and blaming us.
Do you think that that Trump is aware of that and pardoned the Democrats that invaded on January 6th?
No, he didn't, dude.
What do you think? What are you asserting is the nature of what happened with
Democrats
pardons?
Democrats do not like shit that's going on. You guys didn't stand up for that kid with cancer. You guys rather sit down.
Why did Trump pardon the J6ers, Justin? That's the question.
Because they didn't commit a crime. That wasn't them. That was all you guys.
But those people, those 1,000 people that were convicted and went to federal prison, Trump pardoned them. One of them was a guy by the name of Jake Lang. Jake Lang is a well-known neo-Nazi who regularly comes to my city and assaults people. He's coming back on August 22nd, and I'm very sad that he's not still in prison because he's a violent, dangerous criminal. Are you saying that Jake Lang is on my team? He's one of us?
You guys just don't like America, bro. If you need help,
Justin, Justin, Justin,
dude,
please.
Can I talk? Goddamn, shut the fuck up.
I'm trying to understand.
Dude, see, you want? Nah, bro. This ain't gonna be a fucking your monologue and the way you want shit ran, bro. Nah, bro.
Justin,
I ain't gonna
please.
fucking deal with this shit.
Is Jake Lang on the right or the left?
Does it fucking matter, dude?
It matters greatly.
No, I don't.
It really does.
Yeah, to you guys, because you guys don't like fucking America, bro.
Well, no, but you just keep saying, you keep spouting these things, but this is a person who was convicted for assaulting...
Who gives a fuck about this person, bro? You Democrats don't like fucking America.
This person has assaulted me before. I'm talking about a real guy out there.
You know how many times
streets.
I've been assaulted by words and shit before, dude?
Not words,
are
pepper
just
spray.
Words.
But
they come out of your mouth, go off your back, bro.
Not words,
if
pepper
you're so
spray.
offended by words,
not
then
words,
maybe you shouldn't be
pepper
doing
spray.
This shit, my guy.
Look, Justin, I don't know if you deal with politics in any other place than TikTok, but I do. I go outside, I go to these protests, I go to these events.
No, you don't, bro. No, you don't. You're not touching a blade of grass in your life, my guy.
There's footage of me breaking up fights at these events. There's footage of me getting in the face of federal agents.
Yeah, sure. There's footage. Show them then, bro. You want to show them.
Okay.
Show footage of you breaking up a fight. And it better be you and not no fucking AI generated bullshit.
Okay.
Cause I stand on business, my guy.
Okay.
Damn, bro, why you treating your keyboard like that, my guy? What the keyboard do to you?
I'm just typing, dude.
Yeah, you're typing like you're being the shit out of your keyboard.
Okay, here we go. Here's a CBS News article. All right. Let's see. Let's
CBS. This motherfucker just said CBS. Are you serious, bro?
Derek Koch and Oskar Quentin, who shared the video with WCCO, say Hernandez was assaulted, and the video shows that she was throwing punches as well. I think that they have some footage of the... Oh, let's see. Do they not have footage on this one? Oh, let's go find the footage.
Yeah, see, it's all AI, bro.
Oh, okay. You know what? Actually, let's find my footage on Fox News then, if you don't trust the left-leaning ones.
Fox News, another fucking... Dude, you Democrats go all over the fucking place, don't you?
I'm talking about footage that I filmed. I could just pull my VOD, but I'm trying to find it on news so that you believe it's fucking real. Let's watch this hit piece. By the way, Fox News stole my footage and gave Savannah Hernandez. God damn it, Fox News! I don't have ads on your fucking website. Gosh damn it! All right, I'm just going to my Instagram. We're gonna do it.
Nah, bro, nah. At this point, dude, you're just talking shit.
Are you patient enough to see that I'm not lying about the footage?
Bro, I'm fucking waiting, my guy.
All right, hold on. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm actually just gonna go back to April 11th on my phone, ship it to myself, and put it on the computer so I can show you the raw file off my phone. Can we do that?
Do whatever you want, my guy. Shit, I'm fucking waiting.
All right, yeah, I mean, like, can you
My fucking balls are getting gray hairs waiting for you, bro.
Do you think that the fact that it's taking me a second to find this is helping your case?
Bro, my balls are getting gray hairs waiting on this shit. Just hurry up, bro.
Chat, let me know if you're interested in seeing this footage that I'm pulling up.
My girl's pussy's getting gray hair,
Dude,
bro.
Like, can you stop saying like what are you doing? Like, what is this bit that you're doing?
Like, just hurry up and show the fucking footage, bro. My girl's pussy's already getting wet.
All right, I found it. I'm Dropboxing it to myself because I just don't know where I'm.
Make sure you gotta drop it to yourself and you make sure you ping it correctly, my guy.
Right. Okay, dude. I'm doing it.
Bro,
it's
shit,
preparing. It's preparing to send to my Google Drive. We're gonna watch it in just a second. We're gonna watch a video that I filmed of me breaking up a fight.
Or it's because the Democrats gotta film shit.
All right, we got here. Here you go, Justin.
Yeah, you're fucking joking, bro. That's not you fucking cleaning up a fight, my guy.
Okay.
Fuck up my dick.
All right. Oh, we gotta remove.
Really?
Wait. Okay, so it says that there's a violation by you, Justin. If I kick you, are you gonna stay and watch the footage? We're gonna watch it together. Okay. I have to remove. That's why I didn't.
Bro, you guys fucking reported me. What the fuck?
All right, I don't know what it was.
Reported me for misinformation. Nah, fuck.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna remove Justin. Justin, please stay in the chat. I want you to see the video that we're about to watch. It's uploading. It's gonna take a second. I'll read some donations while it's uploading to my Google Drive. Oh man. We've got love your work, wondering how I call in, can't TikTok. Thank you, Dancing Zorba, for the $2. We're gonna have a phone number on the screen very soon. I purchased some hardware for that, so we are gonna look at that. See, Justin, this is why I didn't want you to yell, because I knew you were just gonna get a flag for something that you were saying, and when you do that, like, I have to kick you from the show. But I hope, Justin, please show us that you're still in the chat and you want to watch this video if you claim that I don't go to these things and participate in these sorts of things. Little Sal Pal sent $5 to say, in addition to asking his age, we need to start out by asking Justin how much he's had to drink today. He always sounds drunk as fuck when he calls in. Sad. I agree. To everybody here, thank you very much for sending those gift memberships. He did. So you may have just been gifted a membership if you're watching on YouTube. Tavi also sent $2 to say, Dustin, California resident here. Who did she let out? Yeah, I mean, it's just, just fucking nonsense, these things. All right, hold on. Let me get my other Chrome page open so I can get this footage downloaded. Sorry, I don't have this ready. I should. It's going to get sent to this Google Drive. Is it to the team folder? No, to the staff folder. Here we go. Let's go to my drive. Sorry for the patience, but I just, I got called out, so I gotta respond. There's the staff folder. So it should be uploaded to here momentarily. There it is. I shall download it. Let's download that. Good, that's downloading. Which means it will be up and ready to put in the stream viewer in just a moment. Okay. Which downloads folder did that go to, though? Sorry, I have so many Chrome profiles here. Is Justin still in the chat? Or did he run?
Kind of looks like he ran all the way. Chat was calling out to him.
Yeah.
I mean, we could still show the footage.
Well, I mean, we're gonna, because we don't want people to think that I wasn't telling the truth. Let's see, will Google Chrome play it directly from the computer, or do I need to screen cap something else? Come on now. Oh, man. All right, wait, hold on. Let's just do it the manual way. Sorry for the dead air, everybody. I just do want to deal with this. All right.
Oh, yeah. How do you broadcast that?
Here, we're going to go and we're going to... it should let me add a source. Can I not add a source when I'm live? Let's... Because I should be able to just watch it in Google Chrome. That generally works.
Someone in chat said that Justin's cholesterol spiked, and I know they meant cortisol, but that made me laugh really hard.
Oh, here we go. Add source. There we go. Let's do a... Where's window capture?
Right under 3 down from the top.
There we go. Yeah, sorry, I just wasn't seeing it. All right, we're going to add a window capture, and we're going to add... So we should actually have a VLC capture ready to go, but we need to change some of the settings on that. There it is. Here we go. So I'm filming. So I bet Justin Howard's going to claim that it's not actually me in the footage, even though it's me filming. And there's other angles showing that it was me. But we haven't watched the Savannah Hernandez fight for a while. I'm actually going to make it a little smaller on the screen because I don't want the auto flag to see any of the stuff that's in the background, but here we go. So there's Savannah Hernandez. This is Paige Ostrusko on the right of frame, who she's getting into it with. I have said many times the Ostruskos, Minnesota Angry Man and his wife, Desiree, and Paige, his daughter here, made mistakes that day. I think that they did some fucking regrettable shit that day, to say the least. Let's get the volume turned up so people can hear me yelling.
You may notice in the leather jacket is Oscar's arm.
Yo, it's right. Yo, it's over. It's over. It's over. You fucking touch her. Guys, it's over. It's over. Back the fuck up. It's over. It's documented. So get charged. It's over. Touch my fucking kid again. Touch. Dude, we love you. We love you. We love you.
Just a couple people to shout out. We got, here's Raven, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
There's Raven center frame, and then behind in the yellow hat, that's Dr. Dankenstein 42069, the wizard, as you guys know him.
Hey, let's get you out of here. We're trying to leave. Let's go. Let's get you out of here. I know. Let's go.
Hollow Blossom.
Where do you need to go?
That's right there.
Derek, can we get her somewhere? We'll get you to safety. You're not going to be hurt. Come with us.
You watching, Justin? I don't know. He's not watching. He doesn't care. Oh, well, I mean, he's back in the queue, so he was watching, but, like, Justin, I can't have you back up because you got the restriction for shouting your head off while I was asking you politely to just wait for me to pull the footage up, because I film a fucking lot, and it's a little hard to be organized with it. Me for that one.
We're going to hear from our donors before we move on to our next caller.
Yeah, I think I'll just say about the fight, by the way, like, it's bad what happened to her. It's like, but the federal government has charged those people with, like, federal crimes for this parking lot scrap, which is just like, we were just talking about Jake Lang, where if they're going to charge those 3 people for what they did, Jake Lang needs to go the fuck back to prison, because he goes to that very same place and assaults people fucking regularly. Savannah Hernandez went there intending for that to happen. They fell for her fucking trap. That's what she does. She's a fucking instigator. So it's, yeah, they, you know, the thing I say about her strategy is that if you go to enough funerals and mock the dead, somebody will punch you and you'll probably win your assault case against them. Still a fucking asshole. But if you don't think I get out there and put hands on people, you're fucking wrong. I put my hands on fucking Tom Evanstad. That fucking guy. That fucking rapist. Anyway. Thank you, Alchemix, for the $10. He said, reminder to the chat, this is why I fight for callers like Keemo, so they don't turn into callers like Justin. We can't shun the uninformed, uneducated youth. They'll just devolve and can still vote. Yeah, Keemokazi's on his way to being like Justin. Justin, who's still in the queue. I would just like to ask you, Justin, put in the chat, yes or no, was I lying? Just tell us if you watched what I just showed you. I mean, I didn't fight him. I didn't throw any punches that day. I haven't thrown a punch in years. But I've broken up a lot of fights. Jazz sent $5 to say Justin needs to quit the yap about his sister's gooch for real. Yeah, he just starts yelling about private parts if you give him any fucking airtime while I spend a second pulling up footage that he himself said I wasn't going to be able to pull up and watch. David, did I read your donation over on Venmo? Just a reminder, Justin wants to take guns away from law-abiding American citizens. That was a prank we pulled on him. He doesn't actually want that, but it's a funny bit that we did. Madison sent $5 to say, on a scale of drunk to wasted, how intoxicated is this 40-year-old child? Ugh, you think he's only 40? Was he 40? Maybe he is. I don't know. Yeah. Let's see. Is Justin in the chat or not? Oh, he's there. Wait. He said, come to Cali, put hands on me, little boy. That's right. He was saying, well, you said that if I went to California, which I am in a few weeks, you would send your friends to do something. You weren't really very clear on what. Justin Coward. That's his name. Dude, you wouldn't last a day on the streets of Cali, little boy. Dude, like, I don't know, man. I don't think you'd last a day on the streets of Minneapolis. People don't take kindly to that type of shit here. I don't think people would appreciate you very much. We could trash talk about our states like that, but you know.
He's saying you wouldn't last there because of how badly he wants to put his hands on you.
You want to go on a date, Justin? Oh. Kelly, thank you for the $2. Justin has 2 brain cells fighting for 3rd place. Ooh. Amanda sent $10 to say, your patience with these people is incredible. I love your debates, and even though it often fills me with rage to hear these people, your show is my favorite part of the day. Also, Justin is a window licker. Yeah, I mean, I think his obsession is paint chips, personally. But for fuck's sake, man. Like, Justin, I'm trying to figure out how to have a conversation with you, so I just need you to not yell about vaginas when you're on my show, because I get a fucking restriction and then I can't have you up for the rest of the day. So here you are throwing a fucking temper tantrum in the chat and we can't continue the conversation, and that's your fault. So please, just abide by TikTok TOS to the best of your ability. So maybe tomorrow we can try to figure out what the fuck is wrong with you. Christopher, thank you very much for the gifts. And everybody else, there's lots of people sending gifts. I'm so bad at keeping track of them on TikTok. I'm very sorry about that. All right, let me check the other pay methods so I don't piss off Lucky Phil, because he stays up late in Australia to watch the show. I always miss his buy me a coffees. Macy sent $3 to say, patience of an angel. Your show got me to break my recent decision to stop tuning into debates, commentary, and content regarding USA as I live far, far away. I'm kind of conflicted about it, but damn, the entertainment and a fix of disbelief is there all right. Yeah, I appreciate that. Lucky Phil did send a couple of buy me coffees. He said, this caller sounds like a giant David, a whiny David, for $2. I think everybody knows on this show what David is a synonym for. Lucky Phil also sent $2 to say, I'm a big fan of saying I might be a cunt, but I'm not a fucking cunt. MAGA are the latter. Thank you very much, Lucky Phil. I appreciate your buy me a coffees. Kloorox was a pretty problematic caller, right? How old are you?
Their profile picture is already problematic.
24. I'm the cherry bomb guy.
Oh yeah, you wanted to throw cherry bombs at my window?
Why? Yeah. I wanted to know what your reaction would be.
I'm concerned that would terrorize my pets.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you for the galaxy, Emily.
Do you support ICE?
Love them. They're my favorite government law enforcement agency.
I really like ICE.
Why do you do this?
What do you mean?
Like right now. Like, what, are you laying in bed? Like on your couch or something? Like, what are you doing?
How'd you know?
I don't know. I'm just picturing you, like, oftentimes I lay in bed if I'm surfing TikTok Live or on the couch behind me. And I know why I do it. I know why it's interesting to me. I know why I choose to engage with the content. But, like, right now, what would you say you're doing if somebody popped their head in the room and they were like, hey, what are you doing in there?
I would be face down, ass up, looking at my fucking phone.
Great. But what do you call this activity that you're doing right now?
Fucking chudding out.
Chudding out. Right. So why do you spend your time chudding out? That's what I want to understand.
How do you know how the hell I spend my fucking time?
I just carefully asked and had a conversation with you about what you call what you're doing right now, and you said that it's chudding out. So I'm asking you why you spend your time doing what you're doing right now, chudding out. I actually like that that label for it, chudding out. Like that's
Yeah, that one's new to my vocabulary.
fucking point for Kloorox. I'm gonna keep that one. So Kloorox chudding out on this particular Friday. I want to know why you spend your time doing that, because you're not a serious caller. Like I'm not gonna have a meaningful conversation with you where we like talking good.
No, you could if you wanted to.
I don't think that I can have a conversation with you in good faith because you're unwilling to answer a basic question like why you spend your time chudding out.
That's a silly question.
I just like, what are you trying to accomplish by calling into my show? What does it do for you?
Trying to have a civilized debate.
You told me that you were going to throw explosives at my window.
That was obviously a joke.
Do you think that that's a demonstration of the fact that you were willing to have an adult conversation with me?
No, I just wanted to threaten someone. That's irrelevant.
Why did you want to just threaten somebody?
Because I've got violent tendencies because my parents separated.
Do you think that, like, if you're going to spend your time talking to somebody through your devices, which is what you're doing right now, there's maybe a better way to spend your time than scratching that itch you have to cause violence and harm in others? Like, maybe you could talk to a therapist. Have you ever spoken to a therapist?
Here, how about instead of dodging this subject at hand?
I think you're dodging my question about whether or not you've ever spoken to a therapist. Have you ever spoken to a therapist?
I think therapy is a scam.
Have you ever spoken to a therapist?
I don't know. I just think it's a scam.
Have you or have you not ever made an appointment with a therapist and spoken to them for an hour?
I have.
Okay. Why do you think it's a scam?
Because therapists are just overpaid chuds.
Why do you think that?
If I took 5 therapists and I put them in a neat line and then I took a shotgun, you see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't answer my question. It says more about you than therapists, and I'm trying to understand why you feel the way that you do about therapists.
Oh. All right. How about we talk about abortion?
No, I know that that's like the Hail Mary you guys pull when we actually get to talking about your feelings, but I'm not interested in talking about abortion with you. I'm interested in asking why you think that therapists are such a scam.
Because I threw firebombs at your driveway.
Again, remember, like, we wanted to have an adult conversation. I'm trying to have an adult conversation with you about the value of therapy, because I think that potentially you're somebody for whom therapy could be really valuable, and I'd like to discuss that, which is a more polite thing than most people would want to do with you when you said that you want to throw explosives at their house, not caring that it would terrorize their pets, which is what I told you.
You don't have pets?
Yes, I do.
What?
Why do you think that therapy is a scam? You never answered.
Therapists. Why are you gonna pay for someone to listen to your problems?
Well, you don't. I'm sitting here listening to your problems and you're not paying me. You can get that for free. What you pay for with a therapist is that there's somebody who's gone to school and learned some of the ways that those conversations can be helpful for people's problems.
Shut up.
What?
I said shut up.
You're telling me to shut up?
Yeah.
Why?
You deserve it.
Why do I deserve it? I'm just trying to understand why you feel so strongly about therapy, and I mean, if you feel as strongly as you clearly do, I'd think you'd be able to tell me why.
I think I would destroy you in a physical altercation.
Maybe so. I don't think that has anything to do with therapy. Why do you feel so strongly about therapists?
I have a question for you.
You can answer it after you tell me why you think that therapy is a scam.
Okay. Therapy is a scam because there's nothing that a therapist can tell me that Big Dick Tyrese can't tell me. You know what I mean? Come on.
I know, like, so remember when you said that we could have an adult conversation? Would you say that one of us is trying to have an adult conversation and the other is trying very hard not to have an adult conversation?
No.
I mean,
why did you tell that guy in the video
I can
that you love him?
He's a friend of mine. I'm really mad at Chris for what he did in that video. If you saw somebody that you cared about doing something horrible, you might be like, "Oh, bro, I love you. Don't do that." If you had that type of care for other people, I don't know if you do. But in that moment, I did. I was really upset with Chris, and I was just trying to calm him down.
Yeah,
Chris reminding him that we all cared about him and that we didn't want to see him make any more mistakes than he'd already made.
Yeah. Oh man, that's crazy.
Do you think that the people watching this right now think that you're a person who's capable of having an adult conversation?
Nah, probably not.
I'm trying to understand like what this does for you, like what you get out of this. Like there's a lot of people watching this right now that are mad that I'm just giving attention to a troll, but I'm really just trying to understand like what the purpose of this is for you. And it doesn't sound to me like you're very
Oscar, I'll put it into perspective for you like this. I haven't re-upped yet, so this is my downtime. I'm here, but I'm really not here. I need you to understand that the reason that I came onto this live was for the same reason that you broke up a fight between two girls and then told another man that you loved him.
What reason is that?
I know how to swing my dick around.
Why are you saying things like that? I'm really trying to understand like what you're about, like what your whole perspective on this type of stuff is, and it's just like I don't know. I wish you knew what it was like for somebody like me to encounter somebody like you. It's devastating. I feel so badly for you that your existence is like this, and I just want to understand it. That's one of the things I try to do through this show.
My existence isn't even that bad, Oscar. You know, I'd say a worse existence would be, you know, living in fear.
I think that there's a lot you're afraid of that you're unwilling to engage with. So you put on a brave face and you say that you could kick my ass or something like that, 'cause that makes you feel better about some of the things that you're afraid of. I think that the reason you don't like therapists is because they want you to talk about those things that you're so afraid of.
No, me being brave has nothing to do.
Could you be brave enough to answer some of these questions seriously for me then? I'd really like to know some of the answers. Okay, so just once again, why don't you think there's benefit in therapy?
You asked that same goddamn question.
And you said that why would you pay to talk to somebody and tell your problems to somebody? And I said that my reason is because they're qualified to have a conversation with you that's beneficial for your life, that's beneficial for some of the problems that you're facing. And you didn't really respond to that. You moved on to saying that you wanted to fight me or whatever other thing it was.
All right, well, listen, I can give it to you straight or I can give it to you sideways. So if I give it to you straight, I have to fuck you. But if I give it to you sideways, then you have another day to live. Which way do you pick? Straight or sideways?
Thank you, Tina.
Oh, look at that. Look at the pussy.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Dylan. Can you just tell me what you mean by give it to me straight and give it to me sideways?
Well, I could either fuck you straight up your ass or I could fuck you sideways.
So again, you say that you don't live in fear, but I feel like you're demonstrating that you're quite afraid of engaging seriously as an adult with some of these things that I'm talking to you about. It's very cowardly the way you're behaving in this conversation. That's clear to everybody. So once again, are you going to be brave enough to actually engage about some of these topics I'm bringing up, or are you just going to say mean shit that's supposed to hurt my feelings and get me off the rails?
Well, God damn it! If I could find a cigarette, maybe I'd be a little nicer. But here I found one.
Okay, that's great. I hope that you get what you need from that, and it calms you down,
bro.
and you and I can have a good conversation. Let's not talk about that though, because TikTok TOS probably doesn't like it. But okay. I do want to go back to talking about how I think that there are some things about you that you're afraid to face up to about yourself. So you spend time on here trying to hurt other people. I think that's why you try to hurt my feelings. I think that's why you try to get me upset. And I think
I never tried to hurt your feelings.
Why did you tell me that you were going to throw explosives at my apartment?
I already did.
Why did you do that?
I already threw. Yeah. What do you mean? Why did I do that?
I'm asking why you said that you wanted to do that. That's the thing that you did. You did say that.
No, I already did that.
You're saying you already threw firecrackers at my window?
Yep.
Once again, this is you running away from the... You say you're so brave, but you can't even have a conversation with an adult who wants to understand you. You're afraid of that.
You want to know why I said I was going to throw firecrackers at your window?
I want to understand that and a great many other things about you and people like you.
What do you mean people like me?
The people who call into my show and are like really unnecessarily mean or just unwilling to engage with any type of conversation, who don't answer the questions seriously. Like, I really work hard to understand people who do that, like you. You're doing it right now.
I'm doing the same exact thing that you're doing.
Chat, just give me a yes or a no if you think I'm doing the same thing as the caller right now. Just a yes or no.
How much money are you making from these streams, Oscar?
Show makes a big 3-digit number, sometimes a low 4-digit number. I have 2 employees, and we're buying a lot of gear and plane tickets and hotel rooms for travel.
Oh,
so
nice. So combined, you make like 2 McDonald's, 3 McDonald's paychecks like a month.
The show's revenue is approaching about $1,000 a day. Thanks, everybody.
$1,000 a day?
Split across 3 people and the things that we need to buy to run the show.
Oh, wait. Split across 3 people. So you're making chump change.
If,
I used to make between $50,000 and $60,000 a year doing my previous job, and I am making more money doing this.
I'm so glad you're making more money doing this. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's a sustainable. Yeah, no, it's not. It's not. I mean, what are you doing? What do you contribute to society?
So people are really interested in people like you because it's because of people like you that we have an adjudicated rapist as president, and people are really trying to figure out why you're not able to take these issues seriously and talk meaningfully about them.
Sure. Yo, so remind me again why Kamala has an Israeli husband.
I'm really only interested in questions about you right now. You've demonstrated you're not able to have a meaningful conversation about even something basic, and I don't think that Zionism is a basic topic, so I'm not really interested in going there until you demonstrate to me that it makes sense for me to spend my time doing that. I do consider it worth my time to try to understand you a little bit better, and that's what I'm trying to do. And I also believe in transparency, given that financial transparency for the program, because this show runs on donations, and I want people who give me donations to know how they're being spent. So there's a very rough breakdown of what things look like financially for the show. I'm willing to give you that. But you're just kind of pivoting back to politics. But really, we're just talking about you. You've said some violent things. You said you have some violent tendencies.
Oscar, you want to keep talking about me. You keep asking about me. I don't know why.
I was explaining why just now. So
isn't there questions? Shouldn't there be questions to be asked about you? I mean,
you just asked a question about me and I answered it.
You have no BBC. Oscar, listen.
See, again, you're just we're having this allegedly serious conversation about some stuff, and you're just throwing out random BBC. Are you talking about big black cock for some reason?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah,
why? Okay, so I'll ask a question about big black.
I'll bite it. Yo, I would throw 100 cherry bombs at your house.
I mean, I really just want to know why you have big black cock on your mind during a conversation like this one.
Well, it's healthy. It's good for the mind, body, and soul. But I'm going to throw cherry bombs at your window.
Right. I'm trying to understand why you are calling into a TikTok live and saying you're going to do that to a stranger on the internet. That to me is...
Well, it's good for the mind, body, and soul, like BBC, you see.
You can keep saying that. Chat, just give me a yes or no if you're impressed with his shtick, if you think it's entertaining and useful. Why are you saying that?
Oscar... You look at yourself.
Well, my camera's on. Everybody can see me. I'm sure everybody would love to have a look at you.
Yeah, everyone would love to have a look at me. All right, yeah, for sure. Hold on.
No, too long. Just do it. Just disconnect.
You think so?
Yeah. Oh, just kidding. Oh, I lied.
No, we got a flash. We did see your. You know what? If you want to hop back in the queue and leave,
his face.
It was his face. It was his face. You can get back in the queue if you want to keep going. I'm sorry. I just got scared. We were about to see a dick. I was trigger happy on the button. All right, he's back.
Dude, what the fuck did you think I was going to show?
We've had a problem. Well, you know, we've had a problem with people committing the crime of showing genitalia on the show. So sorry, I was a little. I got just the way you were reacting, but you didn't. That was on me. So thank you for not doing that. And we did see your face briefly. So, chats. Is that that's a picture though? That's not.
Yeah, but it's me though, Oscar.
Okay.
Okay, so Oscar.
Yeah.
I would destroy you in a fisticuffs.
Why is that so important to you?
It feels good.
It feels good to hurt people?
Yeah.
I think that potentially makes you a very dangerous member of society.
I'm so dangerous.
Well, yeah, if you enjoy hurting people, do you think that society's better or worse if there are people in society who enjoy hurting people?
I'm so dangerous.
Why are you saying these things to me?
Because I'm so dangerous.
Does that make you feel good to like say that you're so dangerous?
Dangerous.
Why are you repeating that? I'm trying to understand what you're saying to me right now. I'm giving you a very good shot to explain yourself.
I'm so dangerous. Oh, I'm such a goyim. Oh, I'm so dangerous. Oscar.
Yes.
What are you working with? Like 7 inches?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Like 7? You're like a 7?
You've already asked me that question.
Yeah, and you said like 7, like somewhere around 7. So I'm guessing it's a little under that.
You can guess whatever you want, man.
Yeah, you're within like the 6 range, probably like 6.7, maybe 6.7.
Why do you keep bringing up penises?
Well, you want to talk about me, so I guess we're talking about you now. So let's talk about that cock.
Why? The question. The question again is why are you so stuck on penises? You keep bringing up penises.
You want to keep talking about me, and you still got me up here. I'm imploring you to remove me.
I just don't think that you. I think that you don't want to be considered a coward, which is why you don't want to run. But because you are a coward, you're very uncomfortable with the things that I'm
a coward.
Well, yeah, I think you're really demonstrating to the audience that you're afraid of some of these lines of questioning that I have, and that's why you keep like flailing. You bring up like penises and stuff and say that you're gonna hurt me or whatever, and you're trying to get a rise out of me, and it just isn't gonna work. You've probably seen me very animated on the show, but it's very performative. I can turn that on in like half a second, and I just don't for a conversation like this because I just know it's not effective for trying to accomplish what I'm trying to accomplish with you, which really just is to understand you a little bit better. So again, I'll just ask, like, why do you keep bringing up dicks?
Whose penis do you think is bigger between the two of us?
Why do you keep bringing up penises?
Me, I'm going with like a solid like...
Why do you keep bringing up penises?
He needs an accurate number for his personal fanfic.
No, my shit is basically 7.
Sounds like maybe a little bit less than 7.
No, basically.
All right, man. Why do you keep talking about dicks? Are you gay? It's okay if you're gay. I don't care.
Yeah, Oscar, if I was, you'd already have that ass taken.
Okay.
He's talking about raping me now. Like, what is this? Why are you talking about raping me? That's not very nice.
Convicted in 11 states, by the way.
Why do you think this is funny, dude? Like, I think it's kind of sad what you're doing.
Go back to Africa.
I mean, it's like nobody's ever had a conversation with you this long. You're just popcorning with like hateful buzzwords, dog whistles and shit. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, go back to Africa.
I've never been to Africa.
You have to go back.
Why are you saying this? Like, what is going on? Tell us. Like, I want to know about you, Kloorox. How do you spend the rest of your time when you're not on TikTok Live? Do you have a job?
Of course I do.
What's your job?
I'm an electrician.
Do you go into people's homes? Are you a residential electrician?
Yep.
Do you think that a person with violent tendencies such as yourself should be working in people's homes?
I think that... Well, who do you think should be doing that job? You think it should be you? Or are you going to be the electrician?
I mean, I'm not a certified electrician, but I just think somebody who doesn't have such violent tendencies as you do should do that type of work if you're going to be going into people's homes.
Nah, it's cool. I throw cherry bombs at everybody's house that I go to, so it's like, all right. We call it Allahu Akbar electricity.
How old are you again?
I'm 24.
What kind of childhood did you have?
How old are you, Oscar?
How old do you think I am?
Probably 28.
31.
Yep.
Okay, what?
Old chud, make chudder, chud, chuddity, chud. 30 years old, it took you 10 years out of your entire youth to get a following on TikTok.
I started in February.
I'll destroy you.
What was your childhood like, dude?
My childhood was good.
Yeah?
A lot of thick, big booty Latinas.
Your childhood was sexualized?
Unfortunately, yes.
Oh, so not so good.
Not so good.
Sorry to hear that. Did anybody ever commit any crimes against you when you were young?
That's an oddly fucking upfront question to ask a motherfucker, isn't it, Oscar?
3 minutes ago, you said that you would rape my ass.
Never said that, by the way.
You said that if you were gay, you'd have my ass already.
Yeah.
So I think that everything is on the table in terms of me having a conversation with you. I'm not interested in you clutching your pearls about how personal my questions are.
Okay, have you ever touched your nephew, Oscar?
Don't have any nephews, and the question is, when you were young, did anybody commit any crimes against you?
Have you ever had any
Not
alone
interested in you running away from these questions.
Okay, what's the question?
Anything bad happened to you when you were young?
When I was a baby, my daddy would always spank the everlasting Christ out of me until I could no longer walk.
My dad beat me too.
Yeah. Fuck the shit out of me too. Till I couldn't walk.
I've spent a lot of time in therapy talking about the things that my father did. Took a lot of talking with experts and just some mentors I had in my life to really understand the way I should let that influence me. And when he was alive, I worked really hard on how I should let that influence my relationship with him. Pretty glad I was able to forgive him before he died. I think that'd be harder if I hadn't, now that he's gone.
How do you know that you forgave him?
I think that that's just something I can tell about the way that I feel about him.
But how do you know that you can feel that?
Well, like I just said, I talked with a bunch of therapists and some other people who are important in my world when I was younger, and I'm curious if you did any of that sort of thinking about some of the things that happened to you.
I think I don't know. What do you want from me?
Well, I just worry about people who have difficult childhoods, who don't spend time really actively trying to make sure that the sorts of things that can happen to people who have bad childhoods don't happen to them. Because one of the things that tends to happen when people get beat by their parents is that they tend to grow up and beat their own children. And that's, I'm not going to have any kids, but, you know, my dad had a really terrible temper. So I really have watched, like, my own physiological reactions to things that are upsetting my entire life. And I credit the fact that I've really paid attention to that as one of the reasons I'm as level-headed as I am, and why I'm able to, like, performatively turn on the crash out for the show. But I don't really lose control of myself, and I just worry about somebody like you, where it sounds like some bad stuff happened to you when you were young that you haven't really faced up with. It doesn't sound to me like you've done any of the work of wondering how that might affect the person you've become.
Oscar. Shut the fuck up.
See, and that's that cowardliness I'm talking about. I don't think you appreciate where we are in the conversation, so you just say something mean like that, you lash out, and I'm just, I mean, that's obvious to you, right? That you're just lashing out? Like, you're behaving like, I used to be a high school teacher, but you're really behaving like some of the middle schoolers I used to work with, where you just, yeah.
You're acting like you're doing me a fucking favor. You're just talking shit.
I'm just trying to understand you better, man. Like, it's people who behave like you that spend a lot of time wasting my time and just, like, messing with people. Like, it's kind of serious what we're facing up to on this show. There's some bad stuff happening out in the world, and some people really put time and money into an effort to get better public discourse about it. And this show is an extension of that. And you spend your time, like, not taking it seriously and fucking with me and clearly smoking that bong while having a conversation about this.
No, fuck the show. Fuck the show. Fuck the show. Okay. Seriously. No, seriously. No, because...
But I'm still just trying to understand why when I...
Listen. $250 a day. What is that to you?
I mean, it's just a made-up number to me, basically. I mean, I told you roughly what the show makes.
Enough for you to quit working entirely?
Yeah. My cost of living's pretty low.
I believe you. Now, are you doing better than me?
Than you?
Yeah, I'm an electrician.
I'm doing better at you than at being a human, certainly.
Yeah, but I make more money than you do.
It's not very important to me.
Then what is important to you?
I want, when I die, for people to be sad that I'm gone.
Yo, life on purpose. I'm pocket watching because your sister asked me to.
My answer to your question is that when I die, I want people to be sad that I'm gone.
I don't know, bro.
I want to die thinking that the world was a better place because I was in it. I care a lot more about that than I do about money. Money is unfortunately a part of the equation for getting that done. Gotta keep my bills paid. Gotta keep Jessie and Raven paid. But I don't actually care about money. Money's important. It's really important that people send it to the show, because you're right that it matters that the three people who work on this show can afford to live. The three of us are very excited that we get to do this instead of the jobs we quit to do this. But no, I don't care. It's not the measure of a man how much money is in his bank account.
Okay. But it seemed like you were talking about, you were. You were going for, like, oh, you don't have a job, like you're a bum, like you don't have any qualifications, haven't gone to trade school. Like, I've done that.
I don't doubt that.
Yeah, so what's your argument?
But I think that you're still making the world a much worse place by engaging with it in the way that you are.
Well, now it seems like now that you can't do that, it's almost like now you've just given up.
I'm sorry, I can't do what?
Like you've just given up. Now you're just talking about some bullshit.
You said because I can't do something, I've given up. What is it I can't do? I'm genuinely not understanding.
Are you serious? I was speaking, like, plainly and clearly. Like, you want me to go back and, like, remember what I just said twice?
Maybe I missed it. Please just clarify what it is you're saying that I can't do, that I'm like giving up. I'm just not understanding what you're saying about me.
You tried to call me a bum because I didn't have a job, and then now that it just seems like you have no argument after that.
I never doubted that you have a job.
Yeah. Well, you insinuated it. And then now, after that point, you've just been talking about some bullshit. So
I wasn't interested in your job. I was interested in your childhood and if you'd done any work to deal with the things that happened to you when you were a kid.
Nigga, why?
Now I have to kick you because you said a slur.
Shut the fuck up.
It's just TOS, dude. Like, we can try again another day to understand you, but I don't think we learned anything about you today. Holy shit, my Venmo balance is a lot more than it was the last time I looked at it. Fuck. Fucking fuck. I lost my place. Sorry, I'm like out of it after talking to that monster. Tina, I think, is next. Is Tina next? As a very tired leftist millennial, thank you for your work. I watch every day and you keep my activism energized. Much love. Thank you for the $5. Vicky sent a couple donations, so I'll read these back to back. $1 each. Buck still gets your message read on the show. I will warn everybody. I'm getting like approaching 2,000 concurrent every day between the two streams. Enjoy it while it lasts. I'm not going to be able to read every dollar message forever, but for now, I still am, and I'm going to hold on to that for as long as I can, because I appreciate Vicky. She said, tell the caller I'm reporting him for terroristic threats because I'm worried about Oskar and Raven's life. I get a lot of death threats.
Thanks.
Appreciate it, yeah, but we do get a lot of death threats. The ones that happen on the show are particularly interesting, but we do just get a lot in general. I certainly do. This dude has the hots for you, Oskar, says Vicky for their $2. And Emily. Thank you for the $100, Emily. I'd say thank you to Emily every day because she's sending gifts on TikTok and she sends usually, $25, and I guess she must have felt what I was trying to do there was meaningful. She said, the world is absolutely a better place because the three of you are in it. You deserve all the support in the world. Heart emoji. Love you. Thank you, Emily. We have some weird, dark little avenues I go down on the show sometimes, like that one, and I'm glad that you see some value in that. And yeah, I've been talking about it today. That's a fun gift. I'm going to try to spend the money in a way that honors what it was sent for. So, if that guy thinks that we're not making enough money, send us more.
Grifter.
Thank you, Emily. Emily knows I appreciate her tons. Lucky Phil, I also appreciate him a lot. He gets his donations and his silly little jokes in for $2. Pee pee poo poo, eggplant, peach, peach. Thank you, Lucky Phil. Over on YouTube Super Chat, thank you, Bran, for the $2. He says, low energy Joker is really lame and unthreatening. Sandwich for $10 says, finally made it to a stream. I really appreciate everything the Oskar Quentin team is doing, and I hope to help in my own way in the future. Much love. Get out there and have some conversations. Love is Electric sent $10 to say, tell this guy that when he inevitably lands in jail for either violence or threatening violence, he'll just end up in court-ordered therapy anyway. He may as well get it out of the way. Yeah, maybe if he got that therapy out of the way, he wouldn't end up getting ordered by a judge to do it because he could avoid doing the bad thing. But he sure did perk up after that coughing fit for $2. Thank you, non-bobbers. It's just like I've found that when the trolls are like just clearly being shitty and like nothing they say is serious, I've just kind of learned that you can tucker them out. They get kind of bored of being disingenuous, and then you start to learn things about them. So that's kind of what happened with Screechmeister to a degree. But I'm gonna keep taking calls from that monster. Sorry, everybody. But we're learning. Because we did learn that something bad happened to him when he was a kid. I don't think he was lying about that. Do you?
Not the first part, no. I don't think he was lying about that.
Because I think he gave that little admission, and I think if he was lying, it would have just been really outlandish and terrible, but it was actually pretty serious, and then he ran away from further investigation of it, which suggests to me it probably was.
Just the way he said it is what kind of got me to be like, oh, I don't think that's a lie.
Zilla says that was seriously fascinating. If you think it's fascinating for me to talk to psychopaths, link tree in the bio, motherfucker. It's my job to talk to psychopaths. Seriously.
That'd
Thanks.
be an interesting long form video to edit, which is just calls where it turns into caller therapy.
That's a whole category of call on this show.
Yeah.
Therapy with Oscar, even though I am not qualified at all. Just like Socratic method. Why are you like this, dude? Jack is our next caller. We're going to see if he's like another psychopath or just like a fucking Trump supporter. Can we just have a normal call where somebody's like, I like Trump. I like he's doing
Yo,
this.
hello?
Hello, how old are you?
I'm 18.
Do you have a driver's license?
Yeah.
If a sign is brown with a white border, what type of information are you going to see on that sign?
Brown with a white border?
Yeah, brown rectangle with a white border. That might be kind of a hard one.
Like, I don't know. I see those on the interstates when I'm traveling, I think.
Yeah.
Like with the
I believe you.
landmarks and stuff.
Correct. I believe you. You support Trump?
I do not support Trump, but I also do not support Biden or Harris, I guess it would be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're too young to have voted a couple years ago, and I don't expect Kamala Harris to run for president again. But it sounds like your team red is what's going on here.
I agree with both sides to a certain extent, but I don't know. I think there's some issues that they both don't handle well. And so I was wondering, what is there anything that you like about the Red Party, point blank, or do you just have a problem with MAGA voters, or do you just not like Red Party as a whole?
There are a couple of things that the red team values that I can really sympathize with them caring about. One of them is personal freedoms. People on the right tend to really value personal freedoms, and they consider anything that restricts their personal freedoms to be a real affront to what they care about in politics. And there are times where that is compelling to me because I'm a person who wants to exercise personal freedoms. I don't want the government telling me what I can and can't do. But I just recognize that the issues that are still on the table in terms of discussion are issues where me trying to exercise my personal freedom is maybe concerning for other people's personal freedoms. So I still, in those cases, disagree with the red team about how they go about what policies they want, how they go about issues of gun control, for example, is one of those where I actually, more than a lot of people on the left, wish that we could live in a world where if you just want to own a big, dangerous gun, you can, because that's fun. Because I think that wanting to shoot beer cans in your backyard is a perfectly good reason to want to own a firearm. It's just we have to weigh that against the cost to society to have this many guns available, or the cost to society to make them so easily attainable by sometimes young people or people who maybe shouldn't have a firearm. So there's some stuff I can get behind from the red team in terms of what their personal values are, but they're very much at odds with the values that I have for society as a whole.
So what's your do you okay, you have the fuck ice thing back there, obviously, but you just don't like the immigration officers because of how they act under this administration, or do you not like them as a whole and you think we should just let more people in?
Well, it's a little bit of both, but there's this thing that tends to happen when people say because I'm saying fuck ICE that I just don't want there to be immigration policy, that I just don't want there to be immigration law enforcement of any kind or anything like that, which isn't the case. I think that the rules for law enforcement around immigration are pretty broken in this country, especially under the Trump administration, but they have been for a very long time. ICE in particular, the reason I say fuck ICE is because even if I did like the immigration laws, which I don't, but even if I did, even if I wanted all these people deported, even if I thought that was a good solution, which I don't, I'd be able to get over the fact that it's somebody's job to do it, and that doesn't necessarily mean that they're the worst person in the world, but I also take very serious issue with the fact that the way that they're going about these enforcement mechanisms are super problematic, super dangerous, and I think super illegal and very unconstitutional. Really, really uncool stuff. I think that ICE is itself a bigger problem than the immigration problem they're addressing.
Yeah. So hold on, I lost my train of thought there.
That's okay. It happens. But I was just saying that I I take issue with some of the policies, but I don't think fuck ICE would be the slogan if the policies were bad and the guys who were enforcing the law were just doing their jobs in that classic, like, these are the laws, you know, like there are certain laws I don't like, just regular laws that have nothing to do with immigration. And I'm not necessarily mad at the police officer, you know. I'm not mad at the police officer who confiscated my little bag of green stuff all those years ago because it was illegal for me to have that. It's not anymore. But I understand it's not, you know, the cop might be a bastard for a different reason, but he's not a bastard for it being illegal for me to have a bag of the green stuff for a while. But it's different with what's going on with ICE. It's they're doing enforcement strategies that are dangerous and illegal.
Yeah, I think that we need better policy and like an easier route for immigrants to get citizenship. But I also think like, I don't know if this is a thing already, but I think like that there should be like a probationary period when they immigrate, like where if they're like committing violent crimes, where then their citizenship should be revoked, which I'm not really sure if that is a thing now, but I think that would be helpful.
Something like that is already how we do it. You didn't get the exact language of some of it perfectly right. But yeah, we there is a process that you have to follow. My issue is that the process is really difficult. Sometimes there's years-long waiting periods, and a lot of the people who want to immigrate to the country don't have that much time to figure out how to feed their families, how to live.
Dangerous situations.
All right, so I just don't really blame those people for committing a misdemeanor to come into the country because it just isn't that serious an offense. And I don't think that, given that so many people have gotten around that very broken system, I just don't think that deporting them for it is the most sensible thing to do, given that something like 3% of the people in this country don't have full legal status. I think that if we fix the broken system, the kind of thing to do for those people would be to say, hey, sorry the system was so broken. Here's your paperwork. Get started on it. Welcome to America.
Yeah.
Now, that would still mean they'd have to do what you said. They'd have to go through that. I like the way the language you used. You said probationary period. That's the language I like to use. Because, yes, I think if you come to this country and you, like, rob a convenience store or, like, violently assault somebody or just, you know, like an actual, like, serious crime that really harms people, yeah, get the fuck out. Like, no, I'm cool deporting that person. But most people don't. Illegal immigrants commit way fewer crimes, violent crimes of that sort, than other people in the country. So they actually tend to behave themselves. And the vast majority of them that do behave themselves, I think we should reward them with legal residency. I think that would be better than deporting them. It's very expensive to deport them, both in terms of what it costs the federal government and also just the human cost is really bad because that's people getting ripped out of wherever they live and getting sent somewhere they don't want to go. And you got to give me a real good reason to take somebody out of their home and send them to a country they don't want to go to.
I don't know this, but per capita, illegal immigrants do commit less crimes than any other racial group or like group of people.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, there was a big study that was just released like last week about that. They looked at like a big analysis of like 11,500 neighborhoods where like cities, and the total population of the areas that they studied was like 45 million, something like that, which is a big chunk. That's like more than 10% of the country. That's a very representative look at the way that illegal immigrant populations influence criminality in those places, and they didn't find any good correlation. They found the only correlation where there's a little bit of an uptick of certain types of crime is that illegal immigrants are disproportionately the victims of crimes because they don't have legal status. They don't feel as protected. They're not as likely to call the police for help. So they tend to be victimized by criminals more. But they're not. It is correct, like you said, that they're just not dangerous in that way. And because they're not dangerous in that way, and because their effect on the economy is a very good one, they're like disproportionately hardworking for how little money they make. Like that means they're actually very good for the economy. So it'd be very bad for the economy if we kick them out. It'd just be very disruptive, like I said. You know, it doesn't seem a sensible solution to deport them when we could just use a little bit of paperwork to let most of them stay.
What do you think about this? Is big turn from immigration, but what do you think about the amount of money we send to foreign countries and like politicians taking like a shit ton of APAC funding and stuff like that.
APAC funding is real bad. I'm in a position running this show to offer endorsements. You know, people are very curious if I support a politician or if I don't. And I've been trying to preach about this new language that I just don't hear people using. Because when people endorse a candidate, it's never very clear whether they're excited about that candidate or if they just think that it's like the better of two options. And I hope you can understand that, like, whether, like, it's very different whether I'm actually excited about a politician and I really want them to lead, or if it's like, all right, we got a couple more shitty options, but this is the least shitty option. Those are two very different types of endorsements, right? So on my show, I offer hard endorsements and soft endorsements. And a hard endorsement means I actually think this is a good person. I actually think that they want an America that's enough in alignment with what I want for American politics, that I'm excited about them. And there's like a single digit number of those politicians. They're very rare because of something you brought up, which is that most of the Democrats, who are the team that I generally support, take AIPAC money. And if you take AIPAC money, that's Israel money for those who don't know the phrase, you're not going to get a hard endorsement, full stop.
So Kamala was a soft endorsement?
Kamala was a very flaccid endorsement, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So you're just like picking the lesser of evil?
The lesser of two evils, but I think particularly in the case of Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump, it was a really obvious lesser of two evils. It was like it was like evil in this one domain, this like foreign politics thing, which is very important. I'm talking about people's lives. There's people dying in Gaza. Like it's not a small thing that she's evil in that way. But Trump is just as evil, if not more evil, in that way. I'll remind you that he's waging a war against Iran on behalf of Israel, and it's hard to imagine a situation where Kamala Harris was going to be worse in terms of the Israel question than Trump has been. But then there's everything else. There's his character, there's his history of criminality, there's his history of fraud, there's his history of racist behavior, misogynistic behavior, all of which are just character things that I think are really problematic for the person running the country, and that's without even looking at his political positions, which are also bad, in my opinion.
Since you mentioned misogyny, a lot of the things I was seeing during the 2024 election where we've never had a female president and only like one black president. So do you think that she would have been able to like the other politicians would respect her because she's a woman and give like the same level of authority as a man would?
So I'll give you, I appreciate the way you phrased that. I was worried you were about to ask me if you felt, I was worried you were about to ask me if I thought that she was qualified to lead because she's a woman. It sounds to me like you're not sexist like that. That's not the concern. The concern is that all the sexist assholes that she'd have to work with wouldn't take her seriously, right? Well, I actually think that we're getting to a place in politics, both in the United States and abroad, where female leaders are taken quite seriously. There's people like Angela Merkel, whom people are critical of how she did as is it Chancellor of Germany? I forget what their title is, but she led Germany for a few years. But people did take her seriously. We didn't have any issue with people taking Angela Merkel seriously, and we have like even some dictatorial regimes, like Kim Jong-un, the current leader of North Korea. He has named his daughter as his successor, so their next dictator is going to be a woman as well. We find that, sitting at the table at the UN or at the G7 summit or these things, women don't get disrespected in that way because they're among professionals for the most part, these high ranking people know that they do need to take seriously the world leader of another country, regardless of what their gender is. Even the bad guys know that. You don't want to be the country that's not taking you don't want to be the country that's not taking the commander-in-chief of the U.S. military seriously because they're a woman. That's a silly position, and the rest of the world would laugh more at the person doing that than at the female lead of our military. So I don't think that that's a problem once they're in office. But I do think that that presents a real problem for them getting into office. And I do believe that if people in this country, voters, were less misogynistic, not only would Kamala Harris be president now, maybe she wouldn't, because things would have gone very differently if Hillary Clinton had ended up president in 2016. which I think she would have if people weren't as sexist. Because I could say very similar things about Hillary Clinton. I wasn't particularly fond of her as a politician, but she was definitely qualified, and she was definitely worth the soft endorsement of saying she's obviously better than Donald Trump. But I think there were a lot of people in this country who just weren't ready to vote for a woman out of the sort of concern that you had, whether it's that they think other people are going to be sexist and not take her seriously, or because they themselves were sexist and couldn't take them seriously. So I think that right now, what we're facing up with, Team Red doing all this bullshit that I'm very upset about, I think it's strategically unwise if Team Blue picks another female candidate.
I would agree with that.
I think it was strategically unwise in 2016, and I think it was strategically unwise in 2024. Even though, after Biden dropped out, I think Kamala Harris was the best choice with 107 days left to pick and get everybody excited about a candidate. I think that was the best path forward, but a better path would have been for him to not run and for somebody other than Kamala Harris to have a shot at it. And that's not because of anything I think about Kamala Harris. It's because, unfortunately, we live in a very misogynistic country, and too many people are going to weigh that heavily.
I got one more question, and then I gotta go to fucking work, man. But
I respect that.
So, what do you think about the people that just like absolutely fucking hate Trump, and it makes them like hate America? Because I'll see people all over TikTok comments like just like shitting on the country itself when like they could have been born in North Korea where they wouldn't have shit, or like any of those Middle Eastern countries where like they have like zero rights, and they're shitting on one of the most free countries just because of our current leadership.
Not everybody's going to have the same tact around this as maybe I would, but I really sympathize with those people. I get it. I'm not as proud to be an American as I wish I could be because of what's going on here. I'm really embarrassed for my country because of Trump. When I talk to people who are international, it's like, it's a joke. You got to like start the conversation by being like, sorry, our president's such a buffoon. I'm trying, we're working on it. So I think that you should accept that people are going to be quite rightfully angry about some of these things that are happening. But what you shouldn't do, and this is really important, is you shouldn't judge what people's sentiment is generally based on what you see on those applications. You said it all over TikTok, right? Is that a phrase that you just used?
Yeah, like just when I go through comments and
so
stuff.
There's this thing that happens. Sometimes my friends will say, Oscar, how did you not hear about this? It's all over TikTok. It's all over social media. And I'm educated enough about how social media works, something of a professional these days. But even before that, I would say to them, it's not all over social media. It's all over your social media. The algorithm decides what to show you. And maybe you're really interested in this story. So instead of getting served 0 or 1 videos about it like I did, you got served 50 videos about it. So when you see that TikTok is making something feel like an important issue, go see if they're talking about it on the news. Go see if it's on the front page of Reddit. Go see if it's the same, on Facebook or something like that. Like, go Google if the people involved are really talking about it and paying a lot of attention to it. And that's a lot of work to do for individual stories. But the piece of advice I would give you is don't let the algorithm color your perception of what a big group of people think about an issue. Because that's how I have people calling into my show and saying, all you liberals want is open borders, which is nonsense. The number of people who want truly open borders isn't 0. There are definitely some people who think that borders are so evil that we just need to abolish them. I kind of agree with them that they're like problematic, but I definitely don't think it's politically reasonable to try to abolish them. I definitely don't think that makes sense to do in the 21st century for any of the things that I care about for the country. I don't think that's a political platform. I wouldn't want to endorse anybody who wanted to get rid of borders. And that's something I would weigh heavily against them if they were trying to run. So when people say, oh, the liberals want open borders, they're just amplifying a small number of, in my opinion, very unreasonable people who really have no influence over what's happening in politics in this country, and ignoring people like myself who have much more reasonable perspectives on borders, who are louder on the left. And it becomes my job, instead of doing something more productive, my job ends up being just telling people, I'm sorry, that's not what your phone is telling you that, your algorithm's telling you that, your Facebook feed is telling you that, but that's just generally not what we believe. That's not what we want. In just the same way that you could find like some really extreme far right politicians who believe some like outrageous stuff that we should like hang the minorities or like some horrible fucking craziness like that. Like, yeah, but that type of extremeness is still rare across the political spectrum. So you shouldn't let the algorithm decide for you what you see of the world, because it's not interested in making sure that your worldview is an accurate one. It's interested in making you spend more time on that app, whatever that means.
Yeah, I understand that. All right, man. I gotta head out. I don't know why I'm getting shit on in your live comments because I had a pretty respectful conversation.
You did. I'll say fuck the chat for that. I think that you're here with open ears and you want to have a meaningful conversation, and I will continue to defend you against my chat if you want to call back in another time and keep talking about this stuff, because I consider these types of conversations really valuable.
All right, man. Have a good Have a good day.
You too, Jack. I appreciate your time.
Yeah.
He's a kid, guys. Seriously. He's 18. Like, we're not gonna make any progress by being mean to somebody who where like 99% of his life he's been a child, and now he's had a few minutes as an adult, and you think we should be mad at him for the adult he started as? Be better. Be better, chat, when there's somebody like that on the line. For real. Gene, thank you for the $17 on Venmo. A bit late, but that previous caller broke my heart. Yes, what an absolute asshole, but I could hear some hurt. I appreciate your way of dealing with it. Low and slow with understanding is a great way to go. Don't always choose that route, but when I do, we get some interesting moments, and I appreciate that you appreciated that conversation. I was definitely losing the chat on it. Kelly, thank you, Kelly, for the $10. Still mind-fucked by the conversation with Kloorox. Here's to the grift. Huzzah. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Lance. Lance sent $5 to say, I sent this to your DMs, but I know you'll be on a panel with Dinesh D'Souza. Check out his debate with Alex O'Connor. Alex is a friendly. He was also on Jubilee with 25 Christians against a atheist/agnostic. If you send it to my DMs, I should see it, but maybe this is a good time to advertise the Discord, which you can find in the link tree in the bio, because there is a chat channel on there that is for people to send the Dinesh D'Souza debates that I should watch before debating Dinesh D'Souza next month in Las Vegas, which is one of those things that we're going to spend some of that money on that people are sending me. So thank you for the $6, Lance. I will spend it in Vegas after debating Dinesh D'Souza, because I'm not the worst boss in the world. I will blow some money making sure we have fun in Vegas, Jessie. Whatever that means.
Fun in Vegas? Come on.
Yeah, who's ever heard of that?
Yeah.
Honestly, jokes aside, I don't even know how much fun I'm going to have in Vegas. The place looks dreadful. Place looks like it's going to remind me of my father.
No, there's so many flashing lights. You'll get used to it.
I hope there's some good entertainment. Maybe we can catch a good show or something, right?
That's what I want.
Yeah, I don't care about gambling or adultery or anything like that. I can do both of those things at home. Anyway, Gabriel, thank you for the $10. Raven, please read me a book. Raven there's still Raven ASMR book readings being demanded. I tell her all the time that she's got to get creating some of her own content. But then she says, but I have to get caught up on clips. And I'm like, yeah, do that. But anyway, appreciate the donations, everybody. We got some on Cash App as well from Krista for $3. She said, Justin is in serious denial. That one must have come in a little earlier. Sorry, it took me a while to get to that one. And then Jack sent $5 to say caller is good representation of Jack's. Yeah, because we had another Jack. And yeah, he was good faith. He was misguided about a couple things, but like he wasn't disrespectful. He just wasn't like, we run into all these issues and he with callers, and we didn't with him. He was willing to talk. It's a shame we didn't get to talk for longer. I don't give half a shit what happens to the viewership when we have a call that productive happening. I don't care. Screech is here. Who said that? Screechmeister said that. Correct. Screech is here. Hello, Screech. W's in the chat for Screech. Can we just get an uproar of W's for Screech for being so good faith in just the way I was describing about that previous caller? Let's talk to Morris, though. Let's see what Morris is about. Hello. How old are you?
I'm 20.
Are you a Trump supporter?
No, I am not.
I'll give you 10 seconds, but I'm looking for another debate.
Sorry, I was just asking about your thoughts on Marxism, Leninism, capitalism, and U.S. imperialism.
Oh, I mean, I'll have that conversation. I'm not limited just to Trump supporters. I think that the Marxist-Leninists don't offer a pragmatically approachable path to what they want. I think we mostly want the same things. I think we're weary of capitalism for the same reasons. I just think that I recognize the world we live in and the ways we have to engage with what the politics of the country and the world are. So I can sit and like wax philosophically about what ideals I want for the utopia someday. And I tend to agree with the Marxist-Leninists about all that. I tend to agree with them about what it's important to educate the working class about. I think the snappy thing I say is I think I'm doing more to create class solidarity than the Marxist-Leninists, who when I...
You are.
I appreciate you thinking that. Because they're kind of mean to me usually when I say that.
No, the thing is that a lot of them think it'll be possible within our lifetimes. And what a lot of people I know who are studying Marxist-Leninism we're good for reform for the short term, but you just have to educate the working class and build a party before anything can happen. And that'll take like 60 some odd years, especially with the older generations. So definitely imperialism will have to be abolished at some point, but it can't happen now.
I just in this brief moment, so far you and I are 100% on the same page.
Awesome. Perfect.
Completely.
And that's how every leftist should think. It shouldn't be a bicker fight for who's right about the specifics for now. We just have to focus on educating because it's a science.
You can throw a temper tantrum about the fact that we're not going to defeat capitalism in November. It will not save anybody if you do that. Please get involved. Like that's kind of my position on it. And it kind of comes back to like this line I always have about how liberals are mad at me for being a leftist. Leftists are mad at me for being a liberal. The truth is I'm somewhere in between. And Raven, the editor of this show, likes to point out that I'm more of a leftist with a plan. And I think you're maybe the type of leftist who just recognizes that if we look at some of the ideals that the Marxist-Leninists want, that the pure socialists want, what the other flavors of communists want. A lot of it sounds really nice, and it's the sort of thing that we can set our sights on. You said 60 years. I like to say like 100 just to push it outside of like how long I can expect to live, to say, you know, this is what we want progress to look like. But if you're trying to progress in that direction, the label that it gives you, whether you're looking at a American political context in terms of the candidates that you support, or if we just want to pick like a pol sci label, like a political science label, a philosophy label for the school of thought, we're talking about some kind of democratic socialism or being a social democrat, which are people aren't educated enough about the difference for it to matter much for this conversation. But you and I, it would seem both recognize that capitalism's got some pretty evil characteristics, yields some pretty evil behavior when you have agents only concerned for themselves interacting with a capitalistic system. And I just think the work of eroding capitalism is going to take like a lifetime if it could be that short.
Especially with the systems in place and how, our government is lobbied, education is lobbied, media is controlled. Mm-hmm. Just for now, it's going to take a while of people like us to just, kind of what you were doing with the last guest. I really appreciated just listening to him and slowly explaining the global issues that we have and how they apply to our politics here. That's what we need. And that's what DSA agrees about. That's what the RCA agrees about. I just think leftist infighting is stupid all in all, and we have a common idea.
Yeah, and I think that liberals that discredit the things that the leftists are upset about is like just another way that they're not helping. There's like the leftists that fight among themselves. There's the liberals that fight with the leftists, and I'm actually just trying to do the work of create some of that class solidarity. And that's the frustrating thing about talking to those other types of leftists so often, is because I'll say like, hey, you got 1,000 people watching. You have the floor. What do we do? What do we educate each other about? And then they start going into like, oh, we need to talk about the bourgeoisie and the proletariat and the vanguard parties. And I'm like, if you actually just replace those terms with like words that people understand, like the working class or...
They agree.
You can look at an episode of my show and replace working class with proletariat and the billionaires with the bourgeoisie, and I sound like a fucking communist, because for the most part we're after the same thing. It's just that there's this very I like to call them the fart smellers, you know, these Philbros that are like so obsessed with using the most complicated word they know for everything they have to say. But if you're talking to fucking Jim Bob, who's been working down at the steel mill for 27 years about this shit, he's not interested in any of that shit. And it's going to scare him.
Karl Marx. Like, he's not going to understand all of those words off the bat, especially if they have a kid and a family to feed.
And if you're mean to him because he didn't know those terms, he's not going to want to have another conversation with you.
Absolutely.
But, you know, we've been seeing it happen in real time on this show. Jim Bob, who's been working at the steel mill for 27 years, he tends to be a repeat caller because he can find one of these issues he cares about and be like, that Oskar Quentin bastard, that dweeb will explain it to me without being mean to me. And that's just it. I give what I get on the show. If you're trying to understand and you're just genuinely being honest and open in the conversation, I don't care how reprehensible your foundation is. I will have that conversation. That's what I'm here to do. So this is a refreshing call from a leftist. You seem to get what I'm about. You seem to get that at the end of the day, I am a leftist. I'm just one who recognizes the authority of the U.S. government.
Of course, and there's no abolishing it until we have the people on the side of our general ideas. Well, we can't do that without education.
And I think the most extreme thing that I'm really averse to, that I really think is as dangerous as some of these ideas on the right, is the people who are far enough left to think that like the only solution is societal collapse. We have to overthrow the system. Never mind voting in November. And I'll say something to them like, hey, I disagree. But even if I were to, just for the sake of argument, say, sure, let's maybe overthrow the government. Don't you think maybe that it'll be easier to overthrow the government in a world where the Republicans didn't win the midterms? Can you at least recognize
exactly?
You can.
Reform
they can't. A lot of these people will call in and be like, it doesn't matter. They're equally as evil. And I'm like, I just don't think that Kamala Harris would be jailing people who were protesting ICE. I don't think that people would have been protesting ICE in the first place.
The immigrants that were kicked out wouldn't have been kicked out. We would have more like-minded people. And again, it's not about we have to go in there guns blazing and take back our government. It's a slow process where we have to involve ourselves within it, make better policies so that it's possible to strip away the imperialism. It's not going to be some anarcho-communist bullshit. Sorry for swearing, but it's going to be much simpler than that. We just have to focus on education.
To clarify for Kathy in the chat, working 2 decades at the steel mill isn't what makes such a character reprehensible. I'm just saying, hypothetically, the MAGA chud who works at the steel mill, he might have some reprehensible beliefs, but if he's willing to sit and have the metaphorical beer, the metaphorical cup of coffee with me and discuss it, that's what I'm talking about. And I'm not dunking on the trades. I've done some fucking manual labor. Those people build our fucking country for us. But yeah, I think that one thing that's frustrating about people from all over this like leftist to liberal spectrum is that so many of them think that their way forward is the right one. And I think that that's so foolish because we can learn from history that politics is fucking unpredictable. And because politics is unpredictable, we can, instead of trying to make this person win or make this party the big one or make this, like whatever fucking thing, like instead of all that, we can just do that class solidarity thing, which I like to call education, which is just, if more Americans were educated on civics, if more Americans were educated on the lead up to World War II, if more Americans were educated on how the experiments in socialism and communism had gone the world over and all these important things as we look forward at the 21st century, whatever the path ends up being, whatever the roll of the dice on our politics is, we'll still end up with a population that is more resistant to those politics fucking us over if people have some class solidarity and some education about this stuff. So I don't know what the solution is. I don't know what's going to be important to politics for me in America in 10 years. I'm not going to pretend I have that type of predictive superpower. If I did, I'd be a millionaire. I'd be playing the stock market, right? I don't think anybody does. I think anybody who says they do is fucking lying. But I do think that educating Americans is an important piece of the puzzle to make sure that we go in the right direction. And I think that there's a critical mass of education where if the population is sufficiently educated about the things that I think are important, it doesn't matter what the system is, because if it's a bad system, the people won't stand for it if they're educated. That's the only unrelenting tide of progress we can actually create. The individual political frameworks are all going to be fragile in whatever ways they can be overthrown. But a mass of people who know what's good for them, that's fucking hard to defeat with any type of system. Of course. And that's the thing I think I have the most influence over. So I'm mostly just hijacking this conversation with you to like preach about my worldview about what I'm doing a little bit, but I appreciate that.
And I wanted to hear it out, and you've got a follow from me, and so I'll expect to see me back. And I appreciate talking. I'm gonna get going now. But,
sure thing. Yeah.
Thank you for talking with me, sir.
Yeah, no problem, Morris. W's in the chat for Morris for being a super chill, reasonable leftist, because I don't like giving leftists a bad name, especially because I really do think that, like, whether I'm a liberal or a leftist, I'm always very squirrely on it, and people have heard me say both, and it is just because I'm so in the boundary that people define it one way or the other. Like, if you think that respecting the authority of the U.S. government makes me not a leftist, fine, then for you I'm not a leftist. If you think that my, like, lack of, like, care for certain components of it, or the ways in which I think it needs to change in the 21st century makes me not a liberal, then fine, call me a leftist. Can we please just educate Americans how our civics system works and get people understanding some of the like basic philosophy around establishing good ethical principles so that people are consistent in their ethics? That's a big change I'm really, really interested in. And so, yeah, I consider that a friendly call, but it is not always a friendly call talking to a leftist. And I think I think it's a difficult area of the political spectrum to talk about. So a lot of people shy away because they don't want to like be averse to their audience or whatever, which is maybe why that caller expected me to not want to talk about it with him. But no, it's very important because it is what's going to happen next. We got to figure out what to do. And I'm very glad that he agrees that I'm doing more to increase class solidarity than the more difficult leftists. Owl on my wrist sent $10 to say, not everyone finds what they were meant to do in life. It's even more rare to find two things you were meant to do. You were obviously meant to teach and to do this. Congrats, man. It's very exciting. I think, you know, I saw a comment on one of my videos today where I mentioned, like, in the video that I used to be a teacher, and then the comments said, teaching the masses is better than teaching the classes. And I was just like, like, that's what I told myself when I walked out of that high school for the last time, after I, like, such a sad moment, like handing in my key card to my boss. But no, I'm reaching more people doing this than I was doing that. Though I am sad, miss my students. Catherine sent $5 Canadian to say, disagree. It's a vicious cycle to exclude female candidates, pandering to misogynist perpetrators. It holds women to higher standards they can't meet. I hear you. I think we're on the same page in terms of what we value. It's that pragmatic thing where, like, we're making predictions. We were just talking about how politics is unpredictable. So straightforwardly, if I had the predictive capability to be like, if we have a female candidate, but she's going to lose because she's female, and then we have a male candidate who I don't like quite as much, but he's going to win because he's not a woman, I just have to do what I think is the right thing and support the one that I think has a chance of winning. I wish we could just vote for the person we want to vote for. We don't have ranked choice voting in very many places in the country, so it's touchy, but I think it's one of the weaknesses of the left that we're willing to be principled in that sort of way and say, no, it's terrible. We shouldn't appease the misogynists by not having a female nominee for president. But if the result of that is that you get a Republican man as president, then we didn't accomplish what we wanted, and it was short-sighted. So I just think we have to think very realistically about that. I'm wicked excited for a female president when we have one. I will be so upset if it doesn't happen in my lifetime. I want that. I really do want that. But we need to pick the right time. And I worry that right now is not the right time because we need to do everything we can to increase our pragmatic chances of winning. I think we need a female vice president again. I don't think one was enough. Even though she did a fine job, she did a great job. And people still call into my show and say she did a terrible job. And it's just because she's a woman. And that's what we spend time talking about instead of the actual policy. So, yeah, AOC, I'd love to see you on the ticket. Not on the top, probably, this next time. That would probably be foolhardy. I hate to have to say it, but we live in such a misogynistic world. We just have to we just have to have our guard up about it. Jazz sent $5 to say the housemate that owns the lot for us is one of those voting does nothing, violent revolt is the only good change people, and it's so infuriating. I agree. It's mega frustrating. It's like, hey, if you think your vote doesn't matter, could you do me a fucking favor and just vote blue so that I am less likely to be arrested in the next 12 months? Please. I think AOC should be a senator before she goes for the ticket. She's like only barely old enough to be president, but I don't, even vice president, I think she should be a senator first. She's still just a representative. Because I mean, and that's the thing I can consider, where it's like, where maybe a man can just like fucking brute force politics by being popular, but a woman needs to prove it in our climate, right? Like, so that's why I can say pragmatically, AOC should be a senator. She needs to earn her salt because she has to work so much harder to earn her salt among the electorate than a white man would, and that's fucked up. But that doesn't mean that that's not what her campaign manager would tell her, because it's the job of a campaign manager to make sure that you're going to win. Then you just have to consider how people will react. Run Bernie again? Yeah. Let's find the oldest, whitest dude we can for both sides and put them in the octagon together. And that's how. Never mind voting. We should just have Bernie Sanders and Mitch McConnell should duke it out. Pay-per-view on Sunday. Is Mitch McConnell dead? Jessie, have we heard from Mitch McConnell lately?
I was checking that out earlier, and the last we heard was a week ago.
My money's on Bernie, that's for sure. Somebody said that in the chat. Yeah, I fucking messaged Andy Bashir on Instagram because like there's this funny thing about having more than 100,000 Instagram followers is that when you message people who are important,
gets bumped to the top.
Yeah, I have an Instagram account that's that popular, so I know that my inbox will filter up people who are important. So now when I poke people, sometimes they respond. So I pester people. I pestered Andy Bashir. I was like, dude, why did you write that letter? The deadline has passed and nothing's happening. Like, what was the point? He hasn't responded. Let's see if he read it. I think he has to click the accept button for it to show up as read on mine, though. So probably not. When was I messaging Andy Bashir? Look, he's got 205,000 Instagram followers. I'll have more than that in like a fucking month and a half. I'm gonna keep harassing politicians with my big dick Instagram account. Thanks for all the fucking follows, everybody. Seriously, I've been trying to announce it every day because it's exciting that the last account is creeping over 10K. 442 on YouTube. Get following on YouTube, even if you're only a TikTok watcher. Nothing is noise is our next caller, but I'll thank Jazz for the other $2. Oh yeah, all the household but me is trans. So yeah. What? Talking about your roommate? Anyway, oh no, they heard their name and ran. Maybe they didn't mean to be in the queue, but we'll talk to Heidi, who maybe did mean to be in the queue. Hello, how old are you? Heidi, did you mean to join? I don't think Heidi meant to join. We're gonna talk to Kyto. Yeah, nothing is noise didn't request. You may have just been double tapping away on the screen. The button is right there. It's easy to accidentally end up in the queue, which is why I am perfectly kind to people who end up in the queue by mistake. We're gonna talk to Kyto though, and we're gonna see if they meant to be in the queue. Hello, how old are you?
I'm 18.
Are you a Trump supporter?
No, I'm not.
What did you want to discuss? I may or may not platform the conversation. We'll see how I feel about it.
Mainly, as a Democratic communist, I wanted to thank you for your show.
Oh.
Because of the last conversation that you had. I don't know too many people that are like in the same area as me. I do like follow at least a couple like anarcho-socialists, and I agree with most of what they say. I just find it too idealistic. But what I wanted to thank you for is the real idea behind like someone as far left as this is to be the radical party so that there is more moderate. It's more moderate to be where you are so that progress can happen.
Well, yeah, I mean, you could argue that both of us are moving the Overton window to the left in very different ways.
Yeah.
And yeah.
What I mean is like as long as the right finds people like us radical, they'll view you as a more like, I guess, I lost the word for it.
It's okay. Well, yeah, it's that with people like yourself out there being radicals, it's maybe a little easier for them to sit and have that conversation over a metaphorical coffee or beer with me, where I say, hey, I know those guys are screaming real loud over there. I know you're real afraid of that communism. We can talk about it, though. We can have a reasonable conversation about what the communists want, and maybe, you know, what we think are good or bad parts of that, or productive or not productive, or anything like that. I very much appreciate you calling in and let me know. I try to run this show in such a way that I can remind all of us on the left that we are on the same team. And I think that a lot of people on the super far left feel like people who are more traditional liberals just like aren't even on their team at all. And I genuinely just think there's an education problem. I think a lot of people who like were really excited for Kamala. Oh, Kamala's my girl. I'm so excited about, like, a lot of them just don't know that the America is fascistic on the world stage, regardless of who's in charge. A lot of them just aren't educated about this stuff, and we're not gonna fix it by shunning those people. I think people learn from someone like me that in a world where every politician was like Kamala Harris, we'd still have a big mess to clean up. We would just be able to start work on that mess, whereas that mess is still there, but we can't even address it because all of our candidates are people who support it. So we need to get out of that hole first, I think.
Yeah. So, yeah, once again, thank you for what you do. I do tune into the show very often, and it's nice to see what you do. As long as we're making progress, I think that's the only important thing.
That's the goal. Got to get people educated. Well, I'll let you go, but thank you for your time, Kyto.
Thank you as well.
Brian bakes. We're going to see if he bakes on the show like some of our other callers today.
Yeah, sorry you're getting all of the friendlies. I was just going to call and talk about Karl Marx. Do you know that, like, his son is running in Colorado?
His son, Karl Marx's son, is running Colorado?
Yeah, for governor. His name is Victor Marx.
He's running for governor in Colorado.
Yeah.
Do you think he has a chance of winning?
Oh, God, no. He has nothing to do with the actual Communist Party or Marxism.
Okay.
He's actually a right winger, and what came has said on interviews that he's unalived people when he was like 7 years old, and his dad made him do it.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah, that's our opposition. The other
wait, hold on, whoa. When you say a sentence, when you say that's our opposition, who is our in that sentence?
The Democrats, like the left. It would be the left's opposition.
Okay, I mean, if he's running as a fringe candidate for governor of Colorado, that might mean that in the governor's race in Colorado, he's the opposition of most of the left, and I would assume all of the right.
No, he's running.
Because you said he's running as a Republican. Is he the nominee? Have they primaried yet?
Yes.
Okay.
His name is Victor Marx.
Yeah, I know Victor Marx. I figured I knew he was related. Is he his son directly? How old is he?
No. This guy's like got the same name as Karl Marx.
Not actually. Is he related to him?
No, I don't think so. Although he does.
Well, you said you said about that it was his son or something. I figured it was just maybe like a family relation that didn't matter. Like it was because Karl Marx lived like 100 years ago. So.
Right, Victor Marx is the guy that's running the candidate.
Right. Okay.
And his dad was named Karl Marx.
Oh, so he was a different Karl Marx's son.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really, really garbage.
Well, what does that have to do with anything then?
It doesn't. I mean, other than the name.
Oh.
I appreciate what you're doing. No ops here.
Okay. I think I am going to let you go then.
All right, man. Thank you.
Let's see what Keemokazi wants, because I know. Don't worry, Jessie. We have so much important shit to do today. We're going to wrap the show soon. So we can get on with that. Keemokazi Why are you back in the queue?
Because I want to talk to you more. I'm bored.
I'm glad that you don't think talking to me is boring, but I just don't think it's productive.
Kind of.
I don't know. Did you message me roughly where you live? Am I going to go meet you in Texas so we can teach you about astronomy?
Oh, shit, I forgot to do that, but yeah, I will message you after this time.
Yeah, it might not be anytime soon, but I'm so not joking about, like, being willing to spend a few $100 and go out of my way when I find myself in Texas to be able to show you the stars through a telescope, because I'd really love to show you some of the stuff that you can see with your own eyes about the Earth not being flat and whatnot.
So, like, where are we gonna like go? When we do this, like at my house, like where?
Well, so what I might do is I would look up a light pollution map, and you can actually look that up in the same way that you can look up the weather. So if I'm trying to see something in space, I look up a light pollution map of my state as well as a cloud coverage map. There are tools that people who like looking through telescopes use to make sure that they can go to a place. So it might be the sort of thing where we have to go to, like, you know, like the benches at a park somewhere that's like a little bit out of town just to make sure that we can see what we're looking for. But we'll figure it out. It depends on what time.
I'm not like in this. I live on 200 something acres. So
your house is probably a perfectly good place if you and whoever lives with you is willing or would be willing to host me for an evening. But that's up to you guys. But yeah, if you live on 200 acres, it's probably a pretty good place to look at the stars from.
Just as long as you don't put my address out there.
No, I'll work very, very hard to make sure that nobody can use the content to figure out where those 200 acres are.
I bet.
Yeah, I mean it. I have started issuing my challenges to people that as I start traveling the country, I would like to cross paths with some of these people who say that I don't think you and I are going to fight. I'm not worried about that. But there's all these people who say that I won't call them a bitch in person. And I will, but you're like a kid. I'm not going to be mean to you like that. But I would really like to teach you about astronomy in person. I think it'd be really interesting for you to see some of the other planets with your own eyes.
Yeah, that would be cool.
And, you know, it's astronomy, so we're going to be dodging weather potentially. If it rains, right? But I'm just reminding everybody who was watching earlier. I'll go to Texas and I'll do an astronomy class with Keemokazi. I think that'll be entertaining and educational.
And everybody can see what's up.
That's the idea, is we want to see what's up there in the sky. But I am going to wrap the show early today because we've got a whole big pile of work to do, me and Jessie. So I'll let you go, Keemokazi. I'll talk to you later.
All right, see you, Brody.
Brody. Kid makes me feel old. Mason, thank you for the $5 on Venmo. Mason, all the love to you, but the more you talk about it's not the right time for a woman president, the more it feeds into misogyny, even on the left. That crumb of doubt is enough to push people from supporting a woman. Please consider this with your messages. Well, it's so rare that I talk about it that way because I know I have to be careful. I know I have to put that part of the conversation where in a context of recognizing that it is not because she's a woman. It's just that we do have to deal pragmatically with the misogyny. So I do consider that. I do think a lot about it. It's hard to navigate that topic, but I also need to be honest about what I think is best pragmatically in terms of achieving what we want to achieve in politics. And I'm always clear. It's like the difference between the soft and the hard endorsement. It's like the soft endorsement is pragmatism, and the hard endorsement is somebody I'm actually excited about. If they're still watching, I did see somebody ask about James Tellerico in the comments when that discussion was happening. He does get a hard endorsement. He's one of the few. And I don't like everything about the guy. Hard endorsement doesn't mean I endorse every word they say. It just means I am actually excited about them for the most part. Vicky sent $2 more to say, love, you don't have to read this. I won't. I'll read it after the show, but thank you for that. Over on YouTube Super Chat, nothing. There was something else. Was it Lucky Phil? I bet it was. It was Lucky Phil. Oscar to Keemokazi be like, I can show you the world, shining, shimmering, splendid. There we go. Found the melody by the end. That's the plan. It's just like, dude, it's like, look at space together. That's the show for today. Jessie, do we have anything else?
No. I'm sorry.
No, I just felt like seeing if I could imitate your mouth smacks, and I did. I think I got it pretty right. Let's see. Who's online? Who are we saying hi to today? We are gonna raid Politics of Matt. He was a host on the show the other day on here. So just tell him Oskar said hi after I go offline. I will catch all you guys 10 o'clock Central Time tomorrow on YouTube and TikTok. Goodbye, TikTok, and goodbye, YouTube.